Yo. Oh, wait. Okay, my gaming sound is not on. Hello. I didn't have to do too much setup because the last game I played was Persona. How's everybody doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We got first today. Waffles! Congrats on first. Rayla on second. VK on third. Hi, Rye. How's everybody? How is everybody? Where am I? I feel like I'm sitting in too much silence. Where's my audio stuff? Hi, May. How are you? Welcome in. Nice to see you. Thank you for the first time chat. You're from I saw you on Fig's stream yesterday, right? I believe. Am I crazy? Yeah, I'll speak of Fig. Welcome, you guys. How are you guys? I'm surprised I even remember that. I'm pretty bad at remembering usernames, so I'm always just like, oh yeah, hi, and I was like, oops, who are you? I've actually done that to an IRL friend. Funny enough, they came into chat, but I didn't recognize their username because they changed one letter. So in my head, I was just like, oh yeah, that's cool, having a normal conversation with them. And then finally I realized that they were my IRL friend, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Why did I talk to you like an why did I talk to you? I don't know. Like, well, it's different. It's different when you talk to people you're familiar with, you know? I don't know. A little less unhinged, I guess.
It's you.
It's me! Hi, VK! Oh, how about that music? Stop. Okay, we're good. I've said it again, I'll say it again. Your eyes are so pretty. Thank you! My TPs are my favorite. Hi, Tuna! Hi, Tuna. One day, you'll get a non-caffeinated drinks. Tuna, I have so many non-caffeinated options now. I added so many drinks the other stream. Like, we have so many non-caffeinated options. See, look, there's a mango juice for Fig. You got cramps. I'm so sorry about that, VK. Do you have a heating pad, some meds, some tea? I think what is it? Spearmint tea is good. Goober. I feel for you though. I was gonna try and use a hot pack before stream, but I kind of didn't really have time. I strained something in my shoulder, so it's really painful. Like if I turn a certain way, or if I like try to lift myself up in my chair, I can definitely feel it, and I'm just like, oh. You know Honduran white bats eat only figs and nothing else. Oh really? Is that why your name is Fig? Is that the lore to your name? Oh my god, that's so cute. That's so smart. Wait, what does komori mean? Does that mean anything as well? What is the meaning to your name? It means bat. Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, I'm pretty okay today. I overslept as usual, and I just have that weird strain in my shoulder chest area, so I'm just like, I'm uncomfy. You got the horchata, which is the drink I said. Tuna oh yeah, exactly. Tuna's got skill issue. One day they'll get milk. One day. So many other people, like, I think who is it that frequently gets milk? I feel like Waffles tends to get a lot of the Spoon's recommendations, which is really funny to me. You got a heating pad, but it's a warm day. Yeah, it's a pretty warm day. I was just like, I have no idea. I don't know what to do about the muscle strain, honestly. Besides, like, I probably slept wrong or something. I felt it though a little bit yesterday, and then this morning I kind of woke up like really twisted in my bed and blankets, and I was just like, My body don't feel so good. Also, Waffles, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Rye. My goodness. I always appreciate all the gift subs. Making sure Rye's got their stack of pancakes. Lexi's 3 and Tuna and Peanut I want to say once. Okay. But I feel like you almost always tend to get a spoon drink. I really have to add a fun little like surprise me treat gacha. It won't be a check-in, but I want to do like, I don't know, if somebody wants to know what they want to eat for the day or something. Yeah. I always think about food. I'm always thinking about food. I love food. Food is like what always ends up being talked about on my channel. Surprise you treat. Yeah, like you can check like oh, what should I eat today? And then like it'll be a gacha of like some of my favorite treats, you know? Something like that. Yeah, something like that. Let me see. My game setup. Probably gonna go straight into it today. I don't remember. I just beat the Hermit, I believe. And I was trying to log out next to Aki, but I was just like, no, I've been streaming for nearly 8 hours. I'm tired. I am not the endurance streamer. I am the lazy bear. Let's see. Yeah. Stop. Oh my god. Aurello! You didn't have to, but thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. Oh my god, I still haven't finished my one pack. I haven't gone and gotten some more. Beto! Hi, Beto. Hi. How are you? I love seeing Velvet Point so much. How's it going? How's your day? Had some wholesome happen today. I was able to give a squirrel an acorn and a Gork grandma wanted me to make her gnome flippy. Wait, why is her gnome flipping people off? Does it have hands? Does it have hands? Holy fudge, the mugwormer. The mugwormer is cute, right? Honestly, okay, so my house usually stays pretty cool. My coffee does not stay hot when I make coffee at home. When I make hot coffee. It gets so cold within like the first 10 minutes, but the thing is I cannot drink it within the first 10 minutes. I'm just like, please, sometimes I want the hot coffee to be hot. Get a long but fun day. Oh, that's good. What'd you do? Thank you for checking in, Beto. One of those mugs that are like wirelessly charged and they stay hot. There's a thing called Ember mugs. I think those you can like choose the temperature, and they'll keep your coffee hot. But yeah. That one's a temperature controlled mug. I've always debated that one, but I'm just like, I don't think I drink that much hot coffee to warrant keeping my coffee hot all the time like that. Like I'd rather just have a plug-in one for a cup, you know, like a cheaper one. Yeah, not $120. You drink like 4 cups of coffee or tea a day. Oh my goodness, I can't. I used to drink a lot of coffee, like a lot of coffee. I used to drink back when I worked at a coffee shop. I think when I first started I was a little insane and I would have 8 espresso shots, but that's throughout an 8-hour shift. Let's just say it took a long time for me to get over the caffeine withdrawals. It was really bad. I would have really bad migraines from caffeine. Now I'm just like, I limit myself to 2 shots of espresso a day in my 1 morning cup of coffee. Oh my goodness. It's heated variously. Yeah, welcome in, Raiders. How's it going, Prof? Welcome in. Welcome in, Raiders. For those of you that don't know me, hello, my name is Gumari Morimitsu. I am a brown bear VTuber. I like to play a variety of games. We're getting into some Persona today. And I like to usually play, I like to play some Persona. I like to play a lot of JRPGs, honestly, I think. Especially like story-based visual novel. And I like to play some Monster Hunter as well, because that is fun. Welcome in, God of Mochi. And 2 times fool. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you enjoy your stay here in the cafe. What were you playing? Games and demos. Oh, wait, Prof, what were you playing? Also, how are you, Prof? Nice to see you. Took care of a bunch of chores, went out with some friends. Ooh, are you excited for Dawn Trail, Barrow? Are you excited? I literally, oh my god, I met, I was in a raid and I met another, I met another Final Fantasy player. They were drawing some Aaronville art and I was like, oh, I recognize that handsome bun. What are you doing this for? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm making con merch. And I'm just like, what con? What con are you going to? Where may I buy this merch? You're a bear? Call that Persona 3. Okay, we're playing some Persona 3 Reload today, you guys. Persona, yeah, that is a thing. It's like your furry Sona, you know? Yeah! Oh my god. You're gonna Fanta? What are you gonna Fanta to? What are you gonna Fanta to? I already used my Fantasia when Endwalker came out. I became a bunny boy. I was originally a cat girl, but then I was just like, oh, the bunny boys, I have to. You're doing an Itch.io day. Oh, people chose a game demo from a list. That's so smart. I had like a humble bundle back during like one of the charity donations, and I had like hundreds of games I think for Itch.io, and I'm just like, how do I get through this? Bijou the Octo, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you enjoy your stay here in the cafe. Wait, I've been gifted a sub-tier channel. Are you? Hold on. Are you the orange? Yeah, you are. Okay. Oh, hi. How are you? Welcome in. I like your emotes. I've been gifted a sub to your emotes before. Yeah! If you're gonna lurk, please have a good lurk. Enjoy yourself. So tired. You're gonna do a femme aura? Ooh. So tired of being a tall lizard. I want to be short lizard. Okay, I made myself an alt. I made a lizard man. Wait, hold on. I have to show off my wool now because I literally just took some G-Post photos last night. You're in a raid? Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your stay here. Again, for anybody who doesn't know, this is not my normal look. I'm normally a brown bear VTuber. This is the normal look. But specifically for Persona, I like to use my alt look because at least I match with like the overlays and all the colors. Also, thank you, Prof, for the care package. Let me... It's you! I have my shaker with my rogue energy. My hydration. Oh my goodness. Thank you. So I do have an alt. For anybody who's coming in with the raids, by the way, I am non-binary. I do go by they, them pronouns. Fun fact, I do have a feminine version as well. I like to consider myself a little gender fluid, so you'll usually see me use certain models whenever I'm feeling a certain way. Yeah, I'm most normally leaning towards my mask model though. Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. I always love whenever people hold on, if you do exclamation point parent, you guys can see my wonderful parent. Yeah, no worries. Any raiders who are coming in, if you gotta go eat, you gotta go hydrate, you gotta go sleep, please take care of yourself first. I'll be here. And I hope you enjoy your stay. I hope you guys can come around. If not, it's okay. There are plenty of other people that enjoy watching, and I get it. There's too much to see on the Twitch. Yes, there is 3 Gumas. There's not just 2. What other toggles do I have? I have my... I don't think I've ever showcased it, right? Same as I'm being mask leaning gender fluid. Yeah. I have my shiny... Oh wait, these don't... I got my shiny eyes. I have my little... I think people have already seen it on Tuna's channel, but I got my little kissy face. What is this? What is this? Wait, hold on. I'm my sad face. I don't got tears, but I got my sad face. Oh, that's the wrong one. See. I have. Where is my? Oh my god, your eyes have little. Yeah, I've always had little paws. I've even had it on my 3D model before. Wait, I got so distracted. I wanted to show my wall. I'm gonna pull that up before I forget. I had that on my 3D model before. Also, I think. Oh, I have Chipa. You're gonna throw up. Don't throw up. Don't throw up. Wow. Yeah, I don't think here, I guess I think there's been quite a couple people that people have not like seen my model as they are. So yeah, I'll do the little. I have a fun little apron. I love what. Oh, Prof, I'm gonna give that back to you in a moment. I'm gonna give that back to you in a moment. But I have a fun little apron. I only carry straws and spoons. It's for my cafe. A little bear patch right there, a little paw print. Yeah, the straws have my name. My papa was just like, you have a name for your cafe? And I was just like, you can just name it after me. I do have some fun stuff. So a lot of people, depending on which sploon I am collabing with, I do have fun little pins for all of sploons. I love it so much. So I can like change them up whenever if I'm just like collabing with one person. And then obviously my apron comes off. I got my little souffle pancake. I got my little Hebe patch. We started streaming together. We share the same model parent. Yeah. I've never done a full like model reveal really, huh? I'm built like a clamp character, by the way, guys. Oh, it's gonna look a little funky with the filter, but I do have dogs. The dogs are out. The dogs do come out. Yeah, this is my other. Oh, here, let me take off the apron for this one so you can see the whole thing. Sauce? Don't call me Sauce. Why are you calling me Sauce? I am sus. That's fine. I've established that I'm okay. That is my entire personality trait. It's just sus. Go on Tuna's channel and check your sus. Check your sus over there. Distracts you? What are you distracted with? Okay. I checked my DMs out of habit. I was just like, Did you? Oh, and then I do have, so like there's like a couple little things that I really like that my model parent did. You can see my beauty marks. I do have a shoulder one. I do have them on my ear as well. I have some piercings. You can see one there, and then oh, you should hold on. Yeah. I have one on the top of my ear there. Little things. Didn't send you anything? Joke's on you? Cheh. Only 22% in love with caffeine? Can't believe. Should be more. You're so sweet. Honestly, everything goes to my model parent, Miji. Also, I do have a, hold on. Where's my oh, I think I have some stuff off because I don't like pressing it by accident. What is this one? Oh, okay. So I do have a drawing hand for when I do my drawing streams. It does work on both my models, which is really cool. I have, where's my peace sign? Have it? Oh, there it is. And my little peace sign. Oh Also, this is my favorite one. So I think one of the emotes should be a free emote. It should be my little tejepero. Where's my tejepero? I can't find it. This one. You guys see that, right? You guys see that, right? Oh wait, that's the... I totally know my own. I know my own. Can I get some tejeperos in chat? Wow, I already forgot my hotkeys. This is what happens when you don't use them. Thank you. I'm just a little gremlin. I'm just a little gremlin that likes being a thing. just likes going around being a menace. Yeah. I think that's really it. I do have some toggles that I was supposed to get reworked that I had missed the first time with my model parent, but like that's just been like not a priority. Especially since I had taken my break. I was supposed to get it done last year, towards the end of the year, but I was like, oh. Do you have a toggle for hitting the... What does that mean? What does that mean, Fig? What are we hitting? What are we hitting exactly? Okay. I was gonna say, I was just like... Where's the skibidi? Where's the skibidi? Now you do this to me? Yeah, and also thank you. I you just wanted to enlighten me. You've enlightened me. I'm enlightened by the skibidi toilet. Where's the nene toggle? Oh my god. Petition, Miji Papa. Also, thank you, Fig. That really means a lot when I hear like my voice fitting. I don't know. I used to be really self-conscious when I first started streaming about my voice, so it's very nice to. It's very like. What is it? It's a mood lifter. It's a what is it? Self-esteem booster. But I'm very glad that you can imagine my voice with my models. And the dabbing. Thank you for checking in. Also, hi Ariel. Enjoy your latte. Thank you, May, for checking in. Enjoy the matcha. Yeah. It's that. I'm very happy with my model. I love my model a lot. I do want to eventually down the line get my alt outfit done. But that's gonna be a whole new like hee gotta get that re-rigged and everything on top of all my other rigging. So soon I have to ask my papa. Yeah, I'm gonna switch over to my screen before I yap away for another 4 hours. Thank you for the impromptu model show off. Hope you guys enjoyed. Here. Okay, and then I will give back the Akihiko that Prof gave me. It's nice to listen to. Thanks. I really appreciate it. Oh, my controller's not on. Thank you. Honestly, I'm happy with my model, and I feel like as long as I'm happy, that's what matters the most. Let's see. I was in September. Okay. Oh, sound is a little bit loud on my end. Let me know if my audio is still too loud for my voice, and I can always adjust things. I remember now. This is the day that I can hang out with Aki on the rooftop.
Hey.
Maybe a tiny bit lower. I can also put myself up if that works out any better. Usually just because that's a little easier for me to reach. That works? Perfect. Gotta do some work training vids. Yeah, no worries. Have a good lurk, Waffles. Take care. I hope the training vids are okay. And they're, what is it? Not too boring. looks like they changed some stuff. Can't believe they gave us something like that. Gardening, huh? Let's grow something together.
What?
Why should I do it with you? I guess it's fine. But if you want to do it with me, I'm gonna make sure you do it properly. Excuse me? Don't think you're done once you've planted the seeds. If you get impatient, then don't bother. He's so male wife. He's so male wife. I swear.
Right.
I love Shinji so much.
Yeah. I think that about does it. You think you can see this through to the end?
No, he doesn't half-ass things at all.
Good answer.
He is
Let's just hope
truly.
you can maintain
Yeah, his
your
voice,
enthusiasm.
right?
Once you start something, you gotta see it through to the end. I only dabbled in this back when I was a kid, but it'll probably turn out fine.
Probably.
When I was still at the orphanage, I learned a bunch of stuff with Aki. I'm talking too much. Let's get back to
No,
work.
talk more. Shinji.
That should do it. This kind of work is usually easier with more people. Come help out again when you've got the time.
Get in the robot, Shinji. His voice, you can't. It's too strong. It's so good. I believe his old VA is also still in the game. I'm trying to remember.
Let's head back now.
I
You can
think
wash
his
your hands after handling all that soil.
old VA is now Mitsuru's dad. The Kirijo. Correct. Yes, I also love his voice. Oh, Strega.
Looks like Chidori still ain't back yet. I get it's her own fault for running off on her own, but she's still one of us, you know? We gotta help her somehow.
Don't be impatient, Jin. If she hasn't yet freed herself, that must mean her evoker was taken.
Tuna? Get in my bed, Shinji. Feels like those kinds of eyes from. I mean,
Our first objective
yeah.
must be to retrieve it. It would mean nothing to free Chidori without it. For us, our persona is as precious as our very lives.
Who's the shirtless
We should
guy?
wait
It's
for an
literally, what is it? 99-cent store Jesus? Emo Jesus? What was what, Ariel? I didn't say it. Tuna said it. It's Revolver Jesus, thank you.
Their own
Taking him
set
to
of
therapy
eyes.
instead.
Without
Please,
Chidori,
please take
we'd
Shinji to
only
therapy.
be playing into their hands.
Hi Kyo, how's it going?
Yeah, you're right, Takaya. Sorry I lost my cool there for a second. But what are we gonna do? They took down that shadow during the last full moon like it was nothing. If they
Thank you for the
got
cat
someone who can
ears.
predict our moves, it'll be hard to catch them off guard.
Yes, that's true.
By the way, what is that thing? It looks like some kind of clunky evoker.
Doing okay? I hope everything's okay. I hope you enjoyed Persona. I remember when I first started, you were like in the hundreds, in the 100 floors or so. Playing Rise of the Ronin. Ooh, what game is that?
This is one
Ariel.
of the first evokers ever developed.
Ariel,
I
look
suppose
up,
you could call it a
scroll up in chat.
Oh, that's right. You've never seen this before, have you, Jin?
I just noticed that Jin's got like cutouts in his
This was
sleeves.
truly a terrible piece of work.
He's so
In
edgy.
exchange for drawing out the full extent of a persona's latent power, the cost is that they become exceedingly difficult to control. Especially
He's
for
so
those who
Hot
had their
Topic, you're
power
right.
forced upon them, like ourselves. To a persona that has lost control, the user is but a shackle. In those days, it was more commonplace to be killed by our own personas than by the shadows. This was the result of one such killing. I am a shadow, the true self. Regardless, I'm not one to dwell on the past.
So, that's why you don't use an evoker?
Hardly. The real reason is far more practical. I don't use one because I have no need. I don't require something as inelegant as a tool to prove my resolve.
So that's why he just gets a revolver.
You really are something special, Takaya.
It's just like, I have the real thing.
Yet,
I don't need
there
it.
is always someone out there who is even greater. such as one who can wield multiple personas.
Me? Points at me. Me?
Am I feeling attached?
Oh, no, no thank you. No thank you.
Impossible.
You can stay 10 feet away, sir. Okay.
Takaya?
Such a thought is beneath me.
I cannot with him. I cannot with him. You might stream it in a bit, but I might get back to Persona 3 Reload because he did New Game Plus and new. Oh, are you excited for the DLC? I'm very excited. Hi, New. I'm Guma. I'm gay. I'm so glad. What a good quote. That's such a wholesome quote. Thank you for the head pets, Pina. Pina, you should be asleep. Hi, Gio. I swear, Gio and Pina always come out at the same time. How are you doing, Gio? Eepy. Umashu Beefles. Can I go, please, with Akihiko? Also, oh no, Gio, what's with your ribs? Are you okay? Should you stream Persona 3 Reload in a bit or Rise of the Ronin? Up to you.
What do you think, Yamagishi? Do you sense anything?
I feel like if you're already playing Rise of the Ronin, that'd be a good game to go for, right? I think it was laying down funny in my top half, no approve. Oh, I feel you. I think I strained a muscle somewhere. My right shoulder, chest area. It's not feeling so great.
No.
Pina, you're further than me now, right? You're further than me? What month? What day are you on? What day are you on?
By refusing to speak, you're only hurting yourself. We aren't trying to keep you hostage. We just want to avoid unnecessary confrontation.
How's Chidori? You're back again. Why are you so hung up on her, Junpei? Did she say anything?
Not a word.
Let me talk to her.
Iori, you're getting really emotionally invested in this. Is everything all right?
Well, I know she attacked me, but I don't know. I just can't get her out of my head. Please, let me do this.
Sir, you sound like you're in love. You're a little further. Oh, okay. What day? Also, Rai, I believe you're also ahead of me, correct? She could keep me hostage. She really could. Honestly, I love all the redheads in this game. Come back later, I'm sleeping.
Jeez.
Only by a few days. Okay.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, I suppose. All right, see if you can get through to her.
Got it.
Ariel, I said it. She could keep me hostage. I love redheads.
You okay?
Even 8-ball
I
sleeps,
have to let
yeah.
you keep your sketchbook. Wow. You're still drawing pictures? Even in the hospital? You really do like to draw, huh?
Think of the cat ears.
It doesn't matter. She spoke to him. Only I can understand my drawings.
Wait, Chidori, your arm. It's bleeding.
Why is she bleeding?
Not again. Yamagishi, get the doctor.
Right.
What happened? Why are you bleeding?
Oh, that sure is
She
blood
does it to
dripping.
herself. I thought I took all the sharp objects in here.
She did this to herself?
Apparently, we can't leave her unattended for even a moment. But at the very least, she seems to heal at an astonishing rate.
Let go of me!
Then, that cut on your hand back at the station, you did that to yourself?
I never asked for you to worry about me. You are the one who jumped to conclusions.
Well, I want you to stop. You can't be doing that. I'm not just saying this because I'm worried about you. I don't want to see you hurting yourself. Alright?
The doctor will be here soon. You should head back.
I really appreciate that even though Junpei has always been like, you know, I want to strangle you, Junpei. He knows when to get serious. I really appreciated Junpei in this.
Right.
So, you seem to have found your voice.
Only around Junpei. He's serious for his girlfriend. Ah! Kodo. He really likes to lie down at the dorm's front entrance, huh? But it doesn't seem like he's just lazing around. If you could check him out there, if you could see him out there, could you check on him, in on him? Oh. Sewing machine. Class is over. Sewing is fun. Thank you, BB. Straight to the point. Let me see. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. Ooh, BB's. Oh, okay. Perfect. Hold on. Probably I'm gonna do BB's. But also Koromaru. Maybe I'll do Koromaru first. Seems a little more important since I got a text from Yukari. Check on some things.
Good day. Are you accepting a request?
Okay, I have 2 more. 35 fusions and 800 shadows.
Very well then.
Okay. Everyone's been rescued. I don't think I had anything else. We just came back from the full moon, so. There he is! What are you doing? I'm gonna spend time with him. Kodomaru is eagerly watching all the people pass by again today.
Earlier? We're in trouble. It's my friend.
Hmm?
He accidentally stepped on a doggy's tail. And now he won't stop chasing him. I think the doggy's real mad.
Oh.
This way!
Oh my god, I was like, where's the child? At the very top.
I'm sorry.
Doggy. There's a boy at the top of the jungle gym. Koromaru is trying to reason with a stray dog. I'm so glad that Koromaru can understand us. Oh my god, he's got angry eyebrows. Oh. There's nothing we can do. Is there? Okay, who voiced this doggo? I don't know what it is, but I can't take the dog voiceover seriously.
What's wrong? It's okay. You can come down now.
I can't get down.
Naughty looking boy. Oh my gosh.
It's too high. I shouldn't have climbed up here.
I hope the boy get down.
The dog in the jungle gym were so scary.
Plot twist, it's Alejandro style. I want to know the credits. Who voiced the dogs?
Thanks for helping me, mister. Yeah, thanks, Koromaru.
And I brought them here. I knew where to find Koromaru all along.
That was a real dog. It just sounded like that. You sure? Are you sure, Pig?
Koromaru would be at the shrine gate, looking after all the people in town. So, even though he found a new spot, he's still protecting us?
Aww. Sounds right to me.
I knew it! Koromaru is this town's watchdog!
I found out why Kodomaru sits there in the sun. I understand him a little better now.
Oh, by the way,
He's just the goodest
are
boy.
you Koromaru's new owner?
We're friends. It was one of those human vocal cord breeds. Uh-huh. Aww.
Well, as long as he's happy.
I guess here for translation. For dog translation, please.
Whoa, you're right! Okay, see you guys later.
I feel like my courage is increased. Oh, dang it! Bark, 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 bark. I'm so sad. I'm like maxed out on all my social stats, so this is. Gotta do your Duolingo lessons for dog? Yes. It's gonna be arf 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 arf. Some beautiful flowers are laid there. They look new. Are these here to honor the memory of the priest? Oh. The dog was voiced by Thaddeus R. Barkington. Imagine. Arf 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 arf.
Welcome back.
You've probably already seen the message I sent, but I have a favor to ask you. It's about Amada-kun. This is just a hunch, but I think he's been feeling kind of down lately. Could you check in on him when you have the time? He should be in this room. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so I think this part of the game is where I don't remember what happens. I want to cook with Shinji. I want to cook with Shinji. Okay, I'll go check his room. Should just be on the second floor, right? Oh. Luca asked me to check on Amada. This could be a good opportunity to get to know him better. Should I spend the evening with Amada? I guess I have to listen to the girls.
Yes. Oh, senpai. Can I help you? Well, I'm okay.
I keep expecting. Check it out, I'm in the house like carpet. Oh. Check it out, I'm in the house like carpet. Da, 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 da.
Why are you
Which song
asking?
was that again that you mentioned last time?
You aren't worried about me, are you? If so, thank you, but I'm totally fine.
You can always talk to me.
I'll do that. You're really
From a
caring,
Persona 3
senpai.
spin-off? Burning Men's Soul? How much was that one? From Bess? I'm totally fine is what someone who is totally fine says. Yep, uh-huh. Absolutely.
Thanks for going out of your way to check on me. I'll do my best not to worry you. Well then, good night.
No, that makes me more worried. Oh,
Come to
honey.
think of it, I haven't had dinner yet. I should probably eat something.
Cooking time?
Senpai?
Cooking time?
You wouldn't happen to be hungry, would you?
Oh, we just go out. Okay.
He's not here. Oh, it's nothing. Sorry for asking
I
you
want
to
ramen.
go out all of a sudden. I just
This game
wanted someone
always
to
makes
come with
me
me.
want
It's
to
a
get
little
food.
intimidating going to get food by myself. People tend to stare when they see an elementary school kid like me out on his own.
Your order?
Let's get specials.
2 specials coming right up.
Seems like that's the thing to get, huh? Thanks for ordering. So, I saw some people from our dorm stop by here a while back. Like Sonata-san and that guy who recently joined. Aragaki-san. Do you come here with them too? What kinds of things do you talk about?
I'm still waiting to hang out with Shinji.
Oh, sorry for asking.
I'm still
something so
waiting.
weird. I just thought I should know a bit more about everyone, since we'll be fighting together from now on. But it's good either way, because I've always wanted to have a proper chat with you. Everyone in the dorm is amazing, but you're on a completely
is this
different
why you
level.
were suspicious,
I can't believe
Pina?
how many personas you're able to use.
Here you are.
Ikutsuki-san and Mitsuru-san said that each person normally has only one persona, and that it doesn't change. That means what I saw back then was really... it's nothing. Sorry. Shall we eat? Oh, I finished all the soup too. I'm stuffed.
Phoenix Ranger Featherman R, the Melancholy of Swallow.
I swear the
This
names.
winter as a TV special.
Huh?
Oh, Trinity Soul. Okay, okay, okay. I do not remember the opening for that. I only remember Detective Sanada. No, you're good, you're good. Don't even worry about it. You don't think it's the opening? Okay, okay. I'll have to look it up though. I remember watching a bit of it, but I don't think I finished it.
Wow! A spin-off with Swallow as the main character! I gotta make sure I record that!
Do you like that series?
Yeah! I watch it every week without fail. But this TV special is big news. Swallow doesn't usually make much of an impression, but there's a theory that he's actually stronger than Hawk.
He's so excitable, please.
A friend. TV shows like that seem to be
Let
popular
yourself
in
be
my
a
class.
child.
I only watch them so I have something to talk about. Anyway, it's been a while since I've enjoyed a meal like this. I guess it's because I'm eating with you. You're really easy to talk to, and the ramen was delicious. Maybe next time we can... it's nothing. It's getting late. We should start heading back. It was delicious. No, this food was not delicious. Don't let yourself think like that.
Ken. Ken!
Hey, Amada.
This
You
kid
on
is
your way home?
cringe.
Us
Listen,
too.
he just needs
We
some
just
help.
finished eating dinner.
Oh, are you from the same class, Amada-kun?
Yes, it's nice to meet you.
He's so tall compared to the other
Amada.
kid.
Gotta join next month's soccer tournament. We've all been waiting for you, you know? We can even practice together after school.
I'll have to pass. I'm not even sure if I could make it next month.
Aw, come on. We can't win without you. You're better than all of us.
You can't pressure someone like that. Can't you see you're bothering him? I'm sure Amada-kun has a lot going on. Isn't that right?
I forget, Fig, you've never played 3,
it's
right?
fine.
I think we talked about this last
I'm
time.
sorry.
if I remember
Please
correctly.
excuse us. You should hurry home too, Amada-kun.
Correct. Okay, okay, okay. 4 and some of 5. Okay.
Come
Alright,
on.
alright, alright.
Let's get going. Your grandma
Where's
is
your favorite
waiting for
JRPG?
us.
Good. I finally bought
Sorry about that.
We're gonna get
Golden, so I'm very excited to play that.
No, it's
I got
not
it during
that.
the
I just have
sale.
enough to
Will I
do.
stream it?
Second semester has already started, and we have to go to Tartarus at night.
Okay, so I'm a little hesitant to stream because that's actually the one game I don't know. I don't know any I don't know the story too. So it's probably going to be a personal game. I want to enjoy it at like my own pace and not worry about like people coming in to spoil things because I've heard a lot of like bad rep for people who come in on that. Yeah.
I know we'll be going through a lot from now on, so I decided to not make any promises. More importantly, sorry for keeping you out so late. Let's make our way back to the dorm.
And so yeah, the game is old, right? But it's just like, I don't know, Persona 3 is also old and a lot of people haven't played it, but like thankfully I haven't seen too many people be super uptight about like any spoilers for it. Thankfully. That's why I'm playing this one on stream so it's for like the people who have not played it before. They can kind of experience a bit of the story if they don't have the time to play it or like the money to play it. Then, you know, I can I'm kind of here for that. I'm here for the POV. But I just can't leave her alone. Oh, for Chidori. Don't ask me why. I think you gotta crush Junpei. It's 70 clams. But it is on, yes, it is on Game Pass. I believe it's, yeah, that one's on Game Pass. So if you ever get the chance to play it, I think you should play it if you want to experience the story. But if you ever want just kind of like a summary or a TLDR, I could always give it to you like from wherever I've started. Do it for me! Yeah, this is definitely my favorite JRPG game. Mainly for the story. For the story and honestly, all the characters. I really love all the characters. Except Revolver Jesus. He's the only one. Oh, hi.
Greetings.
Junpei has already left for school. He went to the hospital. Lately, he seems to be emotionally distressed. She's still far from passing as a human. It doesn't look like she understands ordinary feelings and conversations yet. If she could, I might be able to form a bond with her. He's an interesting antagonist. She is interesting. Or he is interesting, yeah. I don't know, like... I'm trying to think about like the big bads from P5. So for P5 it was the bald man, Kamishiro? And then I think for P4... Wait, don't answer P4. I've never played that one. He beats some other... Oh, does he? Really? I don't know. Wait, are you also texting me about Kodomaru? I usually see him in the front. The other day I brought him along with me on a jog. It was a good workout. We should hang out with him sometime. Oh, are they just telling me to hang out with them? Okay. I'll probably end up I'll do social link. I think the bad guy in P4 was the name Evil Douglas, which is a bit of a spoiler for that to be his name, but it is what it is. Yeah, I have no idea who Evil Douglas is, so just don't explain any further and I'll be good. He has an interesting outlook of the world. That should be resolved. Yeah. P5 baddies. Yeah, okay, P5 baddies, I definitely just want to strangle them. So like with P3, the baddies is just one it's one big bad at the end, right? But like when it comes to P5 and it was like the evil self of like the teacher, and oh my god, I really hated the first palace because it was that the PE teacher. I think like all the palaces were pretty much just like, what were they? Like their shadow selves, almost like P4. He was so gross. Yeah, I hated like P5 definitely was like, whoa, wait, this game. I hate adults actually. There's anyone in Persona named Evil Douglas. Oh, okay. Thank you. Here's the problem, Fig. I'm gullible. Persona 6, Evil Douglas, confirmed. Big spilling the secrets. It's okay. I actually haven't even hung out with Yukari, I think. I should hang out with her. For Rai, I will hang out with Yukari.
Hey, so...
My dad works for Persona and said Evil Douglas would be the next villain. I can't believe you would give spoilers like this to me, Big. Oh, in private? Please. Go to the rooftop? You just got done crying over her? Okay, here, it's okay. We're gonna see her today. We're gonna hang out today. Can finally hang out with the girls.
Hey, so,
Any of the Persona spin-offs, like Persona Q, P5R, that stuff? Yeah, no. So I played a bit of Persona Q. Fun fact, I owned the limited edition, and like that batch that came with the limited edition, oh my lord. if you have the 3DS cartridge, it probably doesn't work. There's some like something about the material. Basically the game is bricked. I found this out from Rye last time because they were like, wait, can you check your game? And I was like, no. I want to play this again though. I have played Q. I have played the dancing games. I have not played R. I do want to play R. I actually have that one. What is it called? On my PS4. I kind of want to play R on stream after I finish 5 on, because I'm on the last dungeon for 5. Yuki! How are you, Yuki? How's it going? How's it going? Persona Q is the best game. Listen, it basically brought all the kids together, and that makes it the best game because everyone's in it. Oh yeah, Scramble? Yeah. I have. Okay, here's the thing though. I have Strikers as well, but I bought it on a sale and I have not yet played it because I wanted to finish 5 first. Your EP, it's a little late for you. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm also a bit EP. I've also been like a bit sore today because I strained something. It hurts. My chest shoulder hurts. So I'm just like, well, good thing I'm just sitting here with a controller. It's purely for fun. Yeah. Also, I feel like Persona Q really filled out like kind of like the fan, almost like fan service, right?
Never mind. Just
I should really bring my DS to work again so I can start playing during my breaks. Yeah, sorry, for those of you who are unsubbed, there's gonna be some ads. I'll take a pause here. I'm just gonna chat anyways, because I don't want people to miss out. Seeing the girlies interact was great, right? Oh my god, it was so good. Hi Vanna, how's it going? How are you? Oh, no emotional support for me. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I like, oh my god. I wanted to play Tactics purely because Aki's in the way. I'm sorry, do you want me to move too? I can move. I could just be here. Oh, you want to see me? Oh, stop. Get my son back on the screen. This is my husbando, as you can see. Love of my life. Boy failure. Yukari, best girl in this game. Ah, I do love Yukari, but I'm sorry. I'm dating Mitsuru. I will be dating Mitsuru. Yawn. Oh! What? What? Excuse me? Excuse me? I will neither confirm nor deny that statement. I very much so was a Makoto enjoyer. No, I love all the girls though in this game, honestly. She kicks ass, she does. She really does. Thank you for the sheep scream. Why are you screaming, Waffles? Yeah, like, oh my god. I don't know, I feel like when it comes to the girls, Persona 3 has like all the good girls. All my favorite girls. And then in 5, I'm sad how little time we got with Haru. So I didn't really get the chance to like really enjoy the time that you spent with her. On was okay. I know a lot of people like On. But I dated Makoto. Empress women, kya! Because fun in my train. Oh, I'm so sorry. How many training videos do you have? Yeah, Haru definitely, she did not get enough time. She came in so late in the game. I was just like, we barely get to spend time with her. The year is ending. Like, I think you get her like maybe the last 2 dungeons or so. I can't remember, but yeah. She and Yukiko. Okay, P4 girlies, yes. Ah, Chie appreciator. I like Naoto. I like Naoto, but that's also because I really liked, what was it, Kanji? So I really I've seen the arts and stuff. I have not played 4 completely, so. With the P4 girlies, they made them weirdos. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's true, huh? They kind of have like very different character personalities. Not personalities. They're just weirdos. Yeah, they're just weirdos compared to the other girls. P4 cast is so fun. Yeah, I feel like P4 is very eccentric compared to 3 and 5. 1 is 45 minutes, which is the one you're on, nearly done, and 30 minutes. Oh. Chie the Kung Fu Otaku is lit. Except, yeah, like, if you compare all the students from 3, 4, and 5, 4 is definitely the most eccentric. I feel that.
I guess saying that only makes you more curious, huh?
What are you telling me?
Yeah,
what are you telling
I'm
me,
not
Kari?
surprised. Sorry about that. So, you might have forgotten all about this, and it's totally fine if you did. But when we were at Yakushima, I said some
Oh,
stupid
from when
things.
we hugged it.
And I just
CRT.
wanted to say I'm sorry.
Hi, CRT. How are you? I forgot we had a moment. We hugged. We hugged.
It's been on my mind this whole time.
Are you feeling some things for me?
I always felt like I wanted to just be normal. I wanted to have a family like all the other kids. Mom and dad to come home to. Why do we have to be different?
Oh, the trauma dumping. Okay. Okay, but here's the thing. She trauma dumped from the get-go. So this is normal to me now. I'm used to it. You just woke up. Good morning. What is the plan? Do you work today?
But I feel like you understand and have been looking out for me. At least that's what I think. Is that just wishful thinking? That's how I really feel, though.
Oh, did I barely start her social link? I did barely start her social link. Why did I take so long to do this?
Thou hast established a new bond.
Yuki-kun, yes. I am a Makoto Yuki enjoyer. I actually named myself Gumakoto because I was like, wait, this fits, it's perfect. This is maybe only the 3rd time you could have though. Oh really? Okay, so I think I have not missed too much. It's okay. I'll be working on the girly social links now. I think I already have Fuka started at least. So Yukari was the last
It's getting cold.
or second to last one, I
Let's go
think,
home.
because I have Mitsuru in October. Yeah. Okay, but if you like Makoto Yuki, double Yuki, which FemPro tag name did you prefer? Because I preferred what is it? Hamako. I preferred Hamako because that's my pair. I like Akihamu. And by the way, how long have we been holding that story girl? About 4 days. Let's see. That's it? That's all you had to ask? Okay. I was just thinking about asking you. Is that Chidori girl still in the hospital? Just hope he doesn't get in trouble. Part-time work. I'll probably hang out with Fuka.
Oh.
Yes. Oh wait. No more skills. Okay, I probably will end up hanging out with Kodomaru since he wants brushies. Wait, I guess, or Kodomaru. I want to hang out with I guess. More reading? More fanfics?
Excuse me.
Yakuza novel? In regard to the Yakuza novel that we had previously discussed, I was able to acquire the entire series to which it belongs from the library. According to my data, this meets the prerequisite conditions for the activity known as a binge. We're binging? Fanfics. Listen! Okay, wait. Oh, no. I think I was just dying over the first time I hung out with Igus because she was just like, you know the saying, that ass is cracked or something like that. And I was like, I can't take her seriously when she says stuff like this. If you have sufficient leisure time available, would you like to participate in this activity? Yeah. Let's hang out. Then I shall retrieve the book from my room. Please stand by until I return.
That reminds me. I was reading this book during class once. One of our classmates saw and said to me, "Wow, I'm surprised. So you're the type to talk with your fists. What exactly do I look like to everyone else?"
A cute girl.
Cute? From what I understand, that term is used to describe small animals. Are you saying that I'm also being placed into that category? I am an anti-shadow weapon, but I don't seem to be regarded as such. I must correct this problem at once. If it is not addressed, it could negatively impact my ability to carry out my duties.
I forget how silly
Once
she
I
is in
finish
the beginning.
reading, I will start thinking of a solution.
Small animal with extreme firepower, truly.
mental state
You
of
put
both
me in that
sides plays a
category?
significant role
Oh.
in the outcome. I want my presence to strike fear in the hearts of my enemies, but galvanize my allies as well.
But what if I also wish to strike fear in the hearts of my enemies?
What can I do to convey that kind of impression? Ideally, it would be something to encourage people to depend on me. Maybe I can find some tips in this book.
Righteous spirit. I'm waiting to get
This is
more
enough reading
abilities.
for now. We should return to our rooms.
Can she be your girlfriend? I think so. I think you could date her. Of course. Ariel! I knew somebody believed in me. Arca! Hey, how's it going? How are you, Arca? We just made it past Hermit.
So that's why.
She basically already is stuck to you like glue. She is my girlfriend, actually. Tired? I don't know. Are you getting enough sleep? Have you just been busy? Oh, do you know what it means to spill the beans? To break into a smile? No. No, right! Don't tell her! Don't tell her! Exam and work is all done. Oh, that's good. That's good. I hope that work hasn't been too bad. I hope you aced all your exams. I hope they were all easy for you. It's nice to see you. This music is insane. I know. This is the new term music, and I was so excited to hear this because I was just like, reloaded, reworked. Yeah, no. I believe in you. I believe in you. There are many theories about why the word beans is used. One particularly famous theory says that beans were used to vote in ancient Greece. What? At that time, they'd put white beans for yes and black beans for no into the ballot box. And if you spill the beans before voting, it'd reveal their color and your once secret vote. Is that really where that came from? Spilling the beans?
Thanks, man.
No. I just realized I can now see Iga sitting next to me, and that brings me so much joy to see her instead of an empty seat. Yeah, what's your plan now that work and exams are over, or at least done for now?
Yo, Chitorita.
Oh my lord.
Don't call me that.
Come on, lighten up. Here, I brought you a new sketchbook. I thought your old one might be getting full.
I don't remember asking you to do that, Junpei.
Oh.
You finally called me by my name. I wasn't sure if you'd ever say it again.
You're thinking of Chikorita. She does sound like a Pokemon, huh? You actually got a bunch of Persona 4 or 5 music and Rock Band. Oh, you can play that on Rock Band? Oh my god. I just want to, whenever I hear the music, I just want to play the dancing games again. I wish I had time to play on my PS4. Decide what to do next. Do you have any more maybe take a break? Plans for a break, maybe? I have like Persona music, Final Fantasy music, and a Krusty Krab pizza. So why do you of all the things, Krusty Krab pizza is pizza? Oh my god, that's like now stuck in my head. I can't believe you've unlocked this memory in me, Fig. I didn't know you could put custom music though into Rock Band on the Xbox. Also, thank you for the emotional support, Aki.
She finally started talking, but she hasn't said anything useful so far.
Well, it's a start. More of a response than we got from her. So, why are you here?
Since he's in the... Thank you.
Chidori, what's wrong?
Hello? Oh!
What is that? There's something right there. An enemy?
Wrong. Move.
Shinji, what the fuck?
Chidori!
Relax. The persona just went berserk. It happens.
It happens.
Weren't you guys watching? You could see her persona strangling her for a second. They're not like us. They can't fully control their personas. That's why they need to take suppressants. To keep their personas from killing them.
Suppressants? Wait. Do you know something about Strega?
You can find those tracks to use on Clone Hero. Oh yeah, Clone Hero! I've never actually played Clone Hero though. I've never played it. This is normal, yeah. This is, yep. Modded into the game. It's unofficial, but you can load it into an unmodded console. Oh.
Some things you only pick up stepping off the straight and narrow. I'll give the duck the meds I have. The rest is up to you.
Shinji, wait!
Shinji.
Junpei?
Thank God. I thought you were gonna die.
What do you mean? Why do you look so scared? Death is nothing to be afraid of.
Thank you for checking in.
What are you talking about?
Welcome in new. My name is Guma.
Dying just means you won't wake up tomorrow. That's all.
What the hell are you saying? You don't really mean that, do you?
Junpei?
I don't want that. You hear me, Chidori? I don't want you to die.
Junpei.
It doesn't matter if you're not afraid. It's not the point. I don't want to have to live in a world without you.
You're so weird, Junpei.
When she smiles.
Look who's talking.
Hey, wait! Shinji! What the hell's going on? Why did you have those suppressants?
Am I ready for
I've heard
emotional
about what
damage?
they
I don't
do.
think I'm ready for
They're
it.
taken to rein in a persona when the user can't control it. But the side effects... You're not taking them, are you? Answer me!
I don't have to tell you shit.
Oh my god, Arca.
Why are you always like this? Save it. I've heard it all before. You think I'm wasting my power. You can't stand the sight of someone so half-assed, right? I'm sick of your damn preaching. Shit.
You don't understand it all. You should already know. 10 years ago, when the orphanage burned down, I couldn't save my sister. Back
Oh,
then,
the timing of that.
I wasn't strong enough to get past the adults holding me back to even try.
Nice form on that punch. Yeah.
That's why I try so hard. I thought you felt the same way. We promised each other to become strong enough to do what we think is right. So why? Why'd you start taking those drugs without telling me?
I'm back in the fight now. I have no reason to suppress my persona anymore. So just let it go.
Damn it. And the side effects?
There's something I need to take care of. It's something only I can do. I gotta take responsibility.
What do you mean?
Listen, quit worrying about me. Just do what you think is right. Got that?
Oh my god. I love the way.
Shinji.
I love the way Akihiko. Oh my god. I love the way Alejandro voiced Akihiko in this. Oh my god. Thank you for the hydrogen stretch, Tina. Maybe they should kiss. They should. I love them so much. The guy's kind of hot. Which guy? Which guy, Fig? Shinji? 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 Oh my god. My heart is so... Ooh. Okay, more requests. The one who got punched? Oh yeah. He's handsome. He's handsome. I mean, the guy who punched him is cute too, but the other guy. Shinji and Aki, big fan faves. Let's see, let me pick up the... Actually, hold on. We're gonna continue on with Yukari. Gonna catch up. Are you walking back by yourself? I'll come with you. Yes, we're gonna spend time together. Just for you, Ride. Just for you. Welcome in, Raiders! Hi, Fire. How's it going? Welcome in, Raiders. Hi, hi, hi. My name is Gamari Morimitsu. I am a Usudi Brown Bear VTuber. Like to play a variety of games. We're doing some Persona tonight. How are you? How are you? How was your stream? Also, what were you playing? Oh, Digimon! How's Digimon going? You play. I feel like you grind a lot of that game. For any raiders who are coming in, you gotta go hydrate, you gotta go eat, you gotta go sleep. No worries. Please take care of yourself. Don't perceive you. How could I not perceive you if you just raided in? I get a quick little chat for Fire real quick. Yeah, look at that bleep that I made. Don't know why people say that Alejandro isn't as good as the original. I do kind of get that. Also, hold on. I'm so sorry. Yukari looks so freaking cute in this portrait. So cute. Yes, Kyo. What is it called? I do. So personally, okay, I'm already biased because I love Aki, but I did really love Liam as Aki's VA. But I do love how Alejandro really made him more gruff in this in Reload, and I think it's so fun to be able to hear both Liam and Alejandro. Anyways, with what is it, Officer Kurosawa? You didn't like the new TA? Oh, did the People Golden also get a new cast?
Lilies are
Bubbles! Thank you so much for gifting a sub over to Fire. Fire, enjoy your pancake, enjoy your emotes. Today I went and started the original. Is it like a... So the only Digimon game that I have like some knowledge of is like Cyber Sleuth, but that's because I have some friends playing it. Is it similar to that? Yeah, look at all those emotes. The old one had such a special place in my heart. Some characters got recasted. Oh, okay. Maybe some more. Oh, okay. I gotta go check. I always feel like with the Persona games, I actually really like the English voice acting a lot. It's really funny playing through Persona though, and watching Link Click, because the main three in Link Click are all from Persona. It's Fuka, Junpei, and Akihiko. And it's so funny because Akihiko and Junpei, Alejandro and Xenos basically switched roles. So it's really interesting hearing Akihiko kind of talk like Junpei. Cyber Sleuth is part of the Story franchise. World is a different franchise, and the original came out. Oh, I didn't know that. Are you playing it? What console did it originally come out on?
Maybe Kerberos? Oh, sorry. I'm redecorating my room and was thinking of getting some flowers to go with it. I think I'll go with the Kerberos. What color do you think I should get?
What's a Gerbera? No, I feel like cute pink or pink or white. Pink or white. I'm gonna go for pink.
You think so?
Perfect.
I like pink too.
Digimon World's like Tamagotchi with a battle system that's supposed to feel like you're using. Oh, that sounds fun. Honestly though, okay, I feel like if I had to get a Tamagotchi, I would get a Digimon one. And I know they've made Digimon Tamagotchis. I believe they have. Oh, you're doing Baiju's story? I have no idea. I have Baiju, but I have not played anything in Genshin, so I have no idea what's happening. There's just too much for me, and I'm still slowly trying to cry through Honkai Star Rail. And I'm only 2 updates behind on that now. Or like an update and a half, because I'm doing 2.1.
I guess we have the same taste, huh?
It's so obvious, yeah. But I thought white would match her too, you know?
Come to think of it, Kerberos by themselves might be a little plain. What other flowers do you think would look nice? Oh, wait, you've never seen my room, have you? Well then why am I even asking you?
It's a good thing you didn't put what, yeah. You're grinding through Stargirl right now? Oh my god. Where are you in the story right now, Arca? Getting a Digimon Tamagotchi by Go this year. I'll have to look. Yeah, they've been making really cool Tamagotchis though. I have a friend who's like super into Tamagotchis. He collects so many of them. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't mind. I don't mind taking a little chat break like that. You're new, so you don't know who to get. You're in Pinaconi. Okay, did you just start Pinaconi? And honestly, there's metas, but personally, I just get all the girls and boys that I want, and I just throw them into a team. You're the new stuff. Okay. Okay, so you're ahead of me then. You're ahead of me. Can I? Her room? I want to say invite me over, but I don't think she's gonna like that. I'm gonna rank up regardless. I'm gonna rank up her social rank regardless.
You wish. I'm not born for that trick.
Hold on, why was that so cute? Excuse me?
Okay.
She just, you know, puts her hair behind her ear. Oh my god. Ah!
To be honest, any flowers would be fine if they were from you.
From me? From me? From me? Oh, I have to give her a bouquet. I am so flustered right now. I'm in.
It's you.
Yes, it's me, Benna. It's me. There is oh yeah, I did see the Spice Family Tamagotchi. Oh my gosh. But I feel like that's so sad because it's just like a couple characters. I would rather get a Digimon one because there's so many different options, you know? Oh my god. This is only rank 2? I'm so flustered and gushing already.
Just kidding.
Screenshot, 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 screenshot. Why is she so cute? She's so... Oh. Best friend is streaming right now, but she's ahead of you. So, oh, okay, yeah, I know. I thankfully have not seen any spoilers on Twitter. I'm probably gonna play a bit more later tonight. I want to try to get... I don't know how far I'm gonna get tonight with Persona. So we'll see. It's mainly just like playing offline. Rank 10 is literally marriage. Okay, I can't... I want to date Mitsuru though. I want to date Mitsuru. How bad would it be for me to rank up Yukari and Mitsuru? I don't think I've ever romanced or max social linked like 2 different people. She's swaying me a little bit, Rai. She is swaying me a little bit. She's so cute, but I'm like, I have to date Mitsuru.
Gosh, what should I get? I'm actually a pretty indecisive person. A ranunculus wouldn't be bad either.
Might go to Persona 3 Reload. Yeah! Play some Reload. The new Digimon only have like 20-something monsters available. Oh, okay. But at least, like, I don't know. I feel like Digimon's is just so much cuter as a Tamagotchi because, like, that is, like, they do
This is
function like a Tamagotchi. They start from a baby. Yeah, a baby to an adult, so.
I'm calling in regard to a recent change in Tartarus.
Gonna run away and eat. Yes. Please. Get some food, get some water, do your post-stream stuff. Take care. I appreciate you coming in and sharing your community with me. Have a good lurk fire. Take care.
It seems that a path that had been blocked off is now open. I thought it prudent to inform you.
Okay, perfect timing.
Well then, I wish you a safe journey.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's probably going to be a bit of a shorter... I'm still a little bit indecisive about what I want to do. Maybe I'll play some Honkai on Friday, because then that'll get me caught up. I'm an auto-battler. For sure, but I'm like, Honkai, I gotta catch up to this story.
Oh, it's you.
Yuri may be permitted to watch over that girl for the time being. Now's not the time to bombard her with questions. Besides, we still have 3 shadows to contend with. We should be able to accomplish that within the next few months unless the situation changes. Don't let your guard down until the very end. Okay. Do it! Okay. You're right. Get the quests. And then I'm definitely going to be spending time with Shinji.
Marvelous.
I can sense that the power growing within you stems from the bonds you have forged and nurtured. Here, it may not be much, but this is my gift to you. Yay! A singular Twilight fragment.
Here are my requests.
Okay.
Oh my!
Oh, I already have one.
You've
Atrophying Sutra. Okay. Bring me a fruit knife.
Oh yes.
Among these variations, I would like to study the one known as the fruit knife. The fact that it has fruit in the name must mean it possesses some kind of special ability that only works on fruit. It is certainly a tool of great interest. Please bring me one immediately.
By all means.
Okay. Beautiful file. Oh, I skipped over that. This piece seems to bring people either unbridled joy or sorrow, and can sometimes be a matter of life or death. What would it be like? What would it feel like to have such a piece in my hands? I hope to find out.
I will await a report of success.
Come to think
I
of
have
it.
heard whispers of a certain doll, one with an appearance so horrific it invokes nightmares. But on the other hand, it may also be used as a tool for education. Perhaps one exists somewhere within the learning facility you attend. Would you mind searching for it?
By all means.
Okay, that is a spear.
I will await a report of success.
Oh. Titania with Natari Kaja.
I will await a report of success.
Okay, back on the quest grind. Can we hang out yet?
Shame.
No, not yet. Okay. Okay,
Very well.
creepy doll. I feel like I've seen that. Is it not somewhere from Mayoide? Trade item.
Go on, look around.
Wait, I have one of these. So it's not that. Okay, I thought it was that.
Everything good? Hope to see you soon.
What do these mean? Is that just a normal hangout? Hello.
I have a suggestion.
Oh? He's tired of eating the same food day after day. I recommend you change Koromaru-san's menu. I'll think about it.
You have my...
Koromaru-san seems happy to hear that. Thank you. Cute. Uh-huh. You probably won't be going to the hospital again, huh? It seems like that Chidori person wasn't all that compatible with us, except for one person.
By the way,
Why isn't anyone going to the hospital today? Did they finish questioning her already? Chidori, right? Oh, why was that voice so loud all of a sudden? I'm not gonna mess with him today. Okay. Adagaki's suppressant and Haku's expression. Okay.
What?
Oh, he gives me the fruit knife. Give me. You're gonna use it for cooking? Hold on. Thank you.
Yeah?
There you go. It's kind of old, but it has a good grip. You can have it. Oh, thank you so much. Of course you'd have it. Oh, I forgot to do velvet. Here's your fruit knife, Elizabeth.
Good day. Are you accepting? Wonderful.
It seems you've completed a request. What a sharp, shining blade. That must be the fruit knife I asked for. It seems as though it's been in use for a long time, but it's almost as sharp as the day it was made. I bet it has been used to cut a wide variety of things, not just fruit.
How
It's
splendid.
an all-purpose cooking tool. There's something written on the handle. Graduation, gift, orphanage?
Very well then.
This item appears to be quite dear to someone, so be sure to take it back with you. That makes me so sad. Bus stop sign! Wow, thanks. Oh. Was that
Here
one? That
are
was
my
fun.
requests.
Bring me oil.
Of course.
This time, I'd like you to fetch me some oil. Since there's a vast selection of this item, it would undoubtedly be extremely difficult to collect every single variation. Therefore, I only ask that you bring me the oil frequently used by one of your acquaintances.
By all means.
Is it also from Shinji? I'm
Very
gonna laugh
well.
if it's from Shinji. It's probably from Shinji. He's just gonna be like, what are you asking for this stuff for? Oh! Oh! Okay.
Yes.
Right. It's Android for her yep, okay. I see.
Oh.
I see you're looking for oil. That is something I do use regularly. I have a large stock of silicone oil. It works well with precision components. If you like, you may have some for free. Give 'em. What a steal, as they say.
I have a suggestion.
Wow, thank you so much, I guess.
You have my...
Okay, get this stuff over. Also, I assume I won't be able to go... Well, actually, I can probably go to Tartarus
day.
tonight. It's just that Junpei won't
Are you
be
accepting a
able to come
request?
in.
Wonderful. Oh,
I can probably
my.
wait a bit. Silicone oil for precision components. Why, this seems to be the real deal. I wonder what its intended use is. Should I apply it? Soak in it? Or perhaps drink it?
You have
Please
my...
don't! Elizabeth, please don't! Well, in any case, this completes my request. As for the oil, you can take it back with you. Rocket punch. Okay, perfect. I'm just getting items for them. That's great.
Very well.
Let's see. Okay, I'll probably hang out with Shinji. Big yawn. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm a little eepy bear. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be streaming for too long tonight, but I wanted to get a little bit of game story progression done.
Yeah. It's nice that we don't have as much crap to deal with.
I'll apologize if I want
There aren't
to.
as many weeds or pests on the roof. And no moles or other critters that'll dig our plants up. Still gotta watch out though. Some hungry asshole might try to help himself to the whole crop.
They're getting executed. You guys should grow weed up. Oh my god. On a campus dorm?
Didn't know you were so hot-blooded. Most of us here are decent and mature enough that we'd ask before doing something like that. With one exception.
Partake
I
safely,
mentioned
please.
I did a bit of gardening.
They'll never expect it. I feel like
It's no big deal. But this one time, some older kids stole our whole crop. Hucky got so pissed when that happened. He went after them all by himself. Even though they were twice as tall as he was.
Oh.
And then again, that's probably not much different from how he is now. He hasn't changed at all. Compare that to these guys. Growing bigger every day.
No. Great. Whacking my mic. Sorry about that. Is this guy a student? Yes, he is.
This should be good for today.
He's a third year. He's a third year. Thanks to the care we put in, it looks like the plants are growing nicely. He seems 30. Okay, listen.
You can thank me by helping out again sometime.
Yeah, he's a third year. I love my senpai squad. So I usually when I played Portable, I think I'm pretty sure I had Shinji, Mitsuru, and Akihiko as my team. I show up and the first thing I hear is Shinji saying, "I didn't know you were so hot." Hi Tippins, how are you? Oh my god, I still have not done that thing. Hold on. I'll do it after stream. I'll remind myself after stream. Tippins, DM me. Can you DM me right now and just say, do the thing after stream? I'll remember. Why is it in Japanese games someone who is 1 year older than you seems 20 and 1 year younger is literally a child, right? The thing is though, okay, when I see Ken, I'm just like, he kind of doesn't give me elementary school vibes, but I know he is trying to act older than he is. You have done your part. Thank you, Tippins. Much appreciated.
Morning.
Did you pull for Robin? Were you pulling for Robin, Tippins? So there's something bothering me. Why did Aragaki-senpai suddenly decide to come back? He's an indomitable force. Wow. I'm just gonna say, I'm not sure. He feels middle schooler at least. Yeah, he does. He really does. I mean, even the kid that we pass while walking after hanging out, like, he's taller. Trying to save for it. Oh, you have 0 pulls saved because of last minute adventuring. Did you get him though? Did you get adventuring? I got greedy and I tried to pull for E1 adventuring after I literally won 3 of my 50/50s in a row. I was not Gad's favorite in that moment, but I'm guaranteed for Robin now. So I just gotta play the game, get some more jades so I can keep pulling for Robin. He doesn't seem like the type who'd rejoin just because he likes to fight.
Well then.
Itagawa! Oh my goodness. I am having so many big yawns right now. I got the man, I hate him. I feel extra pity for him. No! Why? Tippet! Actually, don't tell me why, because I'm not done with 2.1 yet. Listen, I've been getting his lore, and I'm just kind of like, I love this man. Yeah, Anyways. It's okay, it's okay. It's still, there's no context to that, so I don't understand. I have stayed away from all spoilers still. You're good, you're good. I will only love him more, exactly. Yeah, Rai has warned me that this is like a full course meal for adventuring lovers, me. Hello class. Bagahi Laka Atabe? Are you ready? Then let's begin. Today we'll discuss the magic of the Renaissance era. Oh my god, I forgot. He's gonna talk a lot. The Renaissance was a time when the arts and the sciences enjoyed a strong resurgence in Europe. Of course, this had a profound influence on magic. Although it may be more accurate to say that two studies helped improve one another. As to why the Renaissance helped further magic, practitioners had finally nailed down a way to escape the rules of the church. By studying the teachings of previously inaccessible sects, knowledge of magic flourished, possibly like never before. The Renaissance also brought about the revival of ancient Greek and Roman literature. Magical texts such as Hermetica received all new translations and increased study. Philosophy, natural history, alchemy, astrology. This book is filled with a wide range of subjects. Some even consider it the Bible of magic. Just as science and astronomy had made strides in the modern day, so too has the art of magic. You can see this in the emergence of one of the great magicians of all history, one who put the knowledge of the Renaissance into application. John Dee's Nuts was a professor who advised the Queen of England, but with the magical knowledge he uncovered, he was able to communicate with angels. Of course, there was also Hohenheim, a doctor who traveled across Europe. He became known as Paracelsus, a renowned physician and alchemist. Granted, the magician's life wasn't an easy one back then. Both men dealt with great amounts of persecution in their lives. There's so much talk about magic. Are you still listening? Even your astral selves need to pay attention. Here's a test to see if you're paying attention. Huh? Get it wrong and your house will become permanently haunted. Oh? What? Which book helps further the art of magic during the Renaissance? Huh? Hermetica? Oh, okay. Wow, I was paying attention! I was just double checking my work, you know? Correct. Enjoy sleeping in your peaceful home tonight. Oh my, okay? During the Renaissance, magic had a surprisingly strong influence on the church world society. Several magicians were even involved in the core part of the Renaissance, the religious revolution. Okay, cool. I guess that's what happens when you read. You get the answers. When you study. Surprise! Oh, so many. BB! Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, wait, Fuka. Okay, I'll hang out with Fuka after I think I... This item's over here. Oh, where though? Also, how was Hades, Tippins? We are gamers, we can't read. Truly! How far did you get? How many, I guess, what's a correct question? Like, how many bosses did you go through? Or have you already finished? Actually, this is early access. It's not complete yet, right? You fought the Hades equivalent and lost? Ooh. I still need to, I want to finish playing Hades. It's got more content than... What? Why that much content? Also again, yes, hello. Okay. Let's go out, if you've got the time. Oh, no, I'm gonna spend time with Shinji. That's crazy! For early access? Hold on, let me save. I do want to hang out with Shinji though.
Hey. Yeah. Two specials.
Two specials coming right up.
What's wrong? Not hungry?
There's a character I want to show you so bad, but I don't want to spoil you. My curiosity. Tibbins, show me the character. Show me the character, Tibbins. My curiosity knows no bounds. Hold on. Also, very quickly just... why hurt me here? No, that's not it. But yeah, I want to say show it to me because I'm pretty head empty. I haven't even paid for early access yet, so I will probably forget. You DM'd me a pic. Okay, I want to see it because it's eating at me. I have to know. Is that? Oh. Oh. Oh.
Well, you're still growing. You can handle at least one bowl of ramen.
Oh, I would also be simping. Also, hi Connor, how are you? Good morning. Good morning.
Third eye.
Your third eye? Has it been open through these training videos, Waffles? Also, yes, I am still growing. I am very much so a growing boy.
Because I said I'd treat you. I can't go back on my word. It's bad for my conscience.
You really... You're so faithful. He's so angry male wife. I love him so much.
That's supposed to be a compliment?
It is!
Here you go.
I really want ramen now. Oh my goodness. Heck.
You don't go back on your word. Especially when it comes to something you promised.
Let's eat. No, this looks delicious.
Right. Don't want the noodles to get soggy. I was thinking earlier. You really don't take any shit. Even from your elders. I respect straightforwardness. Less trouble that way. Let's finish up and get the hell out of here.
Ooh, I'm so glad that I get to spend time with him like this.
Welcome back. Were you together?
No, only psychic damage. Oh. You're just doing power washing sim. Oh my god. I keep forgetting. I really want to play that game ever since I found out it was multiplayer. It just seems so satisfying to like play. Yeah, Robin is in Honkai. Oh my god, Connor. Are you caught up to the story? I'm not. Heads up, I'm not caught up. I'm not done with 2.1 yet. But I hope if you're pulling for her, good luck. May Robin Wanters be Robin Havers. You just finished Tiva's bar. It's so funny that you can power wash her bar.
Hmm?
You're not caught up? Okay.
Aragaki, have you considered returning to school at all?
Yeah. How are you this morning? Have you and Baby Olive already had breakfast?
It's been some time since second semester started. Regarding your attendance, it'd be best if you went back as soon as possible.
I got the paperwork, but I don't remember saying anything about turning it in. What's the point anyhow? I got no business there.
Then why did you come back here?
Oh my gosh. Mitsuru looks so good at this angle. Excuse me? You're on Pinacone? Okay, good. How are you liking Pinacone? Pinacone is such a beautiful place. It's so fun. Her bar looked like it had major smoke damage. I can imagine all the black on the walls and everything.
I apologize. It isn't my place to ask that. Everything is my fault. I shouldn't have gotten you or Akihiko involved.
Cut that out. I'm the one who chose to join you back then. However things turned out after that has nothing to do with you. I didn't know what I was capable of. That's all there is to it.
Then why are you so determined not to return to school? You'll
Thank
be
you for the
throwing
cat
your
ears,
future
yo.
away if you don't go back.
Oh. I'm sorry, Mitsuru.
Right. I apologize. I was out of line. I don't plan on forcing you into anything like I did in the past.
Oh, yeah. Okay, looks like I do have some ads coming up. This time with the ad break, I will be taking a break to stretch and stand up and use the washroom and whatnot. Maybe grab a snack. Just a heads up. It's interesting. It's so pretty though. It's very fresh and new. I've so far been able to keep up with most of the updates and not catching up all at once. And I feel like getting to play with the updates has been really nice because like I have enough time between each of the updates basically. Yeah, thank you.
What's important is it's your own decision, Aragaki.
Looks like you have changed. Just a little bit. You always used to avoid relying on people. Not so much of a lone wolf anymore, huh?
The only choice we have is to keep moving forward. That goes for myself, Akihiko, and you. So please, Aragaki, just give it another chance.
What are you guys up to?
Okay, Aki.
Looks like a
wow.
pretty serious discussion.
This is it. All of my favorites in one spot.
Let me guess. This president is lecturing the delinquent on the importance of his education.
Akihiko.
Well, I'll be damned. For a protein-fueled, muscle-bound moron. Pretty smart.
What was that?
See ya, Miss President. This delinquent's gonna go to his room and think about his bad choices.
Oh my god.
Wait, we're not finished yet. Akihiko, why are you like this?
Huh? What just happened? Was it something
Oh my
I said?
god. No, these choices! It's nothing, bad timing, and muscle-bound moron. I'm just gonna- it's bad timing, don't worry, Aki.
Well, that's not my fault.
Oh my god, never mind. I should have said muscle-bound moron. No. Oh.
Welcome back.
Okay. Fuga. Who's available? Who wants to hang out? Shinji's clapbacks are always peak. Truly, truly. Hi, Rat Arcade. How are you? I think Yukari, I'm already maxed out with all her stuff. How do I check there? This. Oh! Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, it was just like, I see the verses. It doesn't say first time chat. Hi Irvin, how are you? Do you prefer if I do you care if I still call you Irvin? Do you prefer Rat Arcade? There's so many rats coming out from the woodworks. Jason's good though. Thank you. I've been having fun. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Oh, I'm gonna have to get one of those clocks soon so I can get everybody caught up. I think my highest is myself at 46. Oh god, I have a lot to catch up on actually. I didn't realize how overleveled I got. Yeah, what are you up to? What inspired the name change? It's not, it's... Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. ERG, okay. I have boost. Oh, okay, there you go. Now I know how to check these. Okay. Okay, Yukari's good. She's already, I believe, maxed out. Okay, yeah, she is maxed out. Hopefully future game company name. Trademark. Ooh. Game company. Is that what you're working on right now? Or are you like trying to get into development? Let's get back from the gym with Aru and Weech. Oh my god. Currently dying from Aru Day. You guys are looking so good. I love seeing Aru's Instagram posts. I was telling Aru last time, I was like, wow, we just looking good. I'm so glad that you guys are so consistent about it. Yeah, glad you guys are back from the gym. Hope it was a good session. Your allergies are so bad. I feel like it's the weather change, but it could also be the heat. Okay, so I can definitely still get more. Also, Shinji's freaking portrait is gorgeous. I'm so in love with these. Oh my god. Okay, so I do have some ads going on right now. I'm gonna go ahead and take a bit of a break because I do want to use the washroom and also stretch my legs and grab a snack. But I will be back when the ads are done. Terrorize them both. Win break. I know I missed the break the first time, so I'm gonna take the break now. I'll be back and then I'll continue chatting a bit. Oh, okay, hello, I'm back. I had to take a real big stretch. Oh, my back. Okay, SP is less than half. S is excited. So I can get up to 3 personalities, it looks like. This is my max. So handsome. I will never get over how beautiful these portraits are. Oh, okay, probably a lot later. 51. Okay, then I guess I can still... I want to try to get Ken personality, hopefully soon. I'll hang out with the child. I just rented the DVD. It's a foreign film about a hard-boiled detective. I have a little free time right now, so... I forget, but these should still also rank up like my personalities, right? Whenever I'm hanging out with them.
They recommended this at the store when I said I was looking for a movie with a cool, hard-boiled main character. But so far, he just seems like a reckless old man to me. He even fell for that woman's lies. Do people really think this guy is cool?
Just wait and see.
Oh, that's right. We are only halfway through the movie. He's surrounded by gangsters again! Wow! He was so cool! He actually knew it was a lie the whole time, and he was just pretending to be tricked. His signature phrase was so good, too! You can't be a detective without smarts, and you've got no right being a detective without a heart.
Ken is so into these shows. I think it's so cute.
Looks like this movie is part of a series!
Lady Oka! Hey! Welcome in, welcome in! Welcome in, Raiders! How's it going? How's it going? I'll let the Raiders settle in for a moment. But hello! Welcome in. My name is Gumari. I'm actually a brown bear VTuber. Like to play a variety of games. We're doing some Persona tonight. Welcome in, True Freeman. Hi, Lady Oka. TP, Orbinet, Ericados Ace. Welcome in, welcome in! Oh, the follower emotes don't work. Oh no! It's okay! Oops, let me get you a shout out. Unfortunately, tabbing out of this game gets the music to stop. But welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow, Truman and Ericados. Hope you enjoy your stay here in the cafe. You're our friend now. Is this how this works? Have I been held hostage? But the stream is going good. It's so nice to see you. Oh. How have you been? How have you been? It's been, oh my god. I don't know. It's been so long.
Good morning. This is Elizabeth.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to tap out. But yeah, any of the raiders who are coming in.
To inform you that more humans have wandered into Tartarus.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. Anybody that's coming in, if you gotta go eat, you gotta go hydrate, you gotta go sleep. No worries. Please take care of yourself first. It is a little bit late on my side of the my side of the internet. But if you are gonna stick around, I just want to give you a heads up. We are a good portion of the way through Persona 3. So if there's anybody who doesn't want spoilers and you want to dip out, no worries. I completely get it. Yeah. How was your stream? What were you playing? Oh, you were playing am I reading my numerals right? Wait. Did that alert go late? Am I crazy? Oh! Oh, wait! Wait, Lady Oko, what do you... Wait a minute! Hello, look. I didn't know you could double raid like that. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Wait, I'm gonna take away the emotional support Aki for a moment so you guys can actually see. You can raid even while you're... Okay, that I knew, but I didn't know you could double raid. Oh my god. Okay, I'll give another... Hello, my name is Kumari Morimitsu. I am a brown bear VTuber. I like to play a variety of games. We are doing some Persona, so I'm using my alt look, which helps make me blend in a little bit more. Give the shout out for Nixie. Hold on, where's Nixie? Okay, got it. What were you playing? Hold on. The Nixie, Nova, and then what were you? Hold on. The Nixie, Nova. I want to see. Oh my god, wait, hold on. No, it's fine. It's a raid train. Overwatch 2. Oh my god, who do you play? What do you mean? I am a one-trick mercy ages ago. How was your stream? How are you guys' streams? I'm so shook. I was just like, wait, am I getting 2 raids right now? This is gonna look so funny, so silly later on post-stream. I will cross out the second one and I'll put Nixie. But yeah, do like to play a variety of games. I do enjoy a lot of JRPGs. What is it called? JRPGs, visual novel. I like to play Monster Hunter Weekly. I usually do open lobbies for that, so if you are a Monster Hunter gamer, you're welcome to join in. Thank you for the follow, Nixie. I appreciate it. It's also, do you prefer Nixie or do you prefer Nova? I apologize if I've just been saying part of your name like that. I haven't played in forever, but your main used to be Junkrat. Junkrat! We love a stinky rat. Nixie is preferred. Okay, I will call you Nixie then. Hold on, I'm still like flustered. That was so... I didn't know you could do that. Okay. Everyone is here. Yes, Lady Oka is so powerful she could double raid. Remake is so fun. Oh, yeah. I also played Portable. I agree. Yeah. So anybody who's coming, oh my god, this game, if you guys played Portable, so I did FemC Portable. This is all completely new to me. All the new mechanics, all the new UI, and all of like just everything. This entire game is so fresh and I love it so much. TV, thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoy your stay here in the cafe. Can't imagine how shocked I was when I literally heard the raid alert. Oh my god. Wait, but I'm still... That's so funny. This is the silliest. I love this. I love that. I love that so much. But I hope you guys I hope you both had good streams. I feel like, hold on. Oh, thank you VK for the emotional support, Aki. I took him away for a moment just so I could show off my full model. But yeah, so anybody from Nixie's raid, if you gotta go eat, you gotta go hydrate, you gotta go sleep, please take care of yourself first. I am gonna be here for a little, I want to say another hour and a half, 2 hours. I've been a bit eepy today, but we're just making our way through some story progression. Truly some good VTubing streams. Yeah. And then if you gotta go lurk, no worries. Don't even stress about it. Lurkers are absolutely welcome here. I don't read a lot of the dialogue. I try to as much as I can, but I get so absorbed in just like playing sometimes. And yapping. A little bit of yapping as a treat. Hi Nuna! I am having a comfy, thank you. Yeah, no worries. And also, if you guys gotta do your post-stream stuff, please go do that. Take care of yourself first. I will be here. I appreciate it, Lady Oka, so much for stopping by, and thank you for dragging Nixie along for the raid train. It's nice to meet you guys, and I hope to catch you guys around. Win for yapping? Yeah. Oh.
One this time, I believe. Please swiftly and safely conduct a search and rescue. This time in particular, I believe this human is an acquaintance of yours. Goodbye now.
Oh, I don't remember the acquaintance that does this. It seems that someone I know is lost in Tartarus. If I don't save them, the consequences could be irreversible. I don't remember this. I don't remember this from Portable. But yeah, anybody who played Portable, who did you guys do for the route for your romance? Who did you romance? I obviously I obviously very much so romanced a certain muscle protein lover meathead. Oh god. Okay, Mr. Ono. The Kamakura period's cool and all, but it doesn't beat the Sengoku era. Oh, history. I think I prefer the Beanie Boy. Oh. Okay, I'm a big Senpai Squad fan. I think I ended Portable pretty much with Shinji, Akihiko, and Mitsuru. I've been super enjoying Trauma Team right now though, with Aki, Shinji, and Ken. Senpai Endure Pog, yes, let's go. Oh no. Oh no, I can't do this. I can't do history lessons. I zone out. Also, the music for the game, that since they've redone it, has just been so good. A+. When we got to the new term and this came up, I was just like, this is so good. Oh, perfect. I don't have to answer a question. I just gotta stay awake.
Right.
Yes, I do have Shinji right now. I did just get him. Last stream, I was able to get him into the team. Are you playing right now, Arcados?
No one else is gonna be here today, but they said we still can't give you back your evoker.
I wasn't expecting them to. That's why I'm in here in the first place.
Oh yeah, how's that cut doing? Ah, right. Probably healed already, huh?
Oh, you're already in New Game Plus. Okay. Just waiting for the DLC. Oh, I'm so excited for the DLC. I never got to finish Fess, only because my brother at the time had sold the PS3 that we were using, and I only had the digital version of Fess. So I'm gonna figure out how to play the old one eventually. I think my best friend is eventually going to break their PS3, so I'll be able to play it whenever they move in. But I'm excited for the DLC.
So, you're not drawing today?
I really love the theurgies for everybody.
Well, not really.
I do think that Shinji probably has like one of the best
Flowers
ones.
The heat must have got to him. Oh, I know. Why don't I go buy you some fresh ones? What's your favorite kind of... Hey, what's wrong? Huh? Flowers? Those are cut flowers, right? Whoa. How'd you do that?
I gave them a little bit of my energy.
I didn't know your healing powers could do stuff like that. It's like a miracle or something.
It's nothing special. You have powers too, don't you? This is just another form they can take.
Well, yeah, I guess. But that's about all I've got going for me. Without this power, I'd be a nobody. I just talk a big game, pretending like I'm some kind of hero. But in reality, I don't know what the hell I'm fighting for. In fact, I don't even really have a good reason to live.
A good reason to live? Good reason.
When I was a kid, I had this silly dream.
A dream?
I used to want to grow up to be a pro baseball player. Pretty stupid, huh? But I guess that's part of being a kid.
No.
I wouldn't really know. I don't remember much from my childhood. I only remember one thing. Being surrounded by white. Everything was white. I hate hospitals.
Oh. You do. Sorry.
But you've been coming to see me here, so I don't mind as much this time.
Chidori. You mean it?
He's blushing. Oh my
I'll
gosh.
see you every day.
Oh. I feel like Junpei really had. Is he in? Is he in? Is who in? Is who in? Is Junpei in?
Greetings.
He seemed quite eager to get there. Has the questioning been going smoothly? He's making progress. Do I detect an underlying meaning? Is there something between her and Junpei-san that I am not aware of? In any case, I have difficulty grasping those kinds of subtleties. Oh, it doesn't look like she understands ordinary feelings and conversations yet. If she could, I might be able to form a bond with her. Oh, all the girls texting me. I'm so popular. Okay, I'm gonna keep going with Yukari's route. Oh wait, check. What is it, a Saturday? Where are my social links at right now? There's a dog yapping outside. Okay, I'm at 3. Okay, that's okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna try to keep them pretty leveled. Who did you end up romancing in this game for Reload?
Hey, what do you want to do now? Karaoke?
Mommy, where are you?
Oh, is this not the same elementary school child we saw while hanging out with Ken? Or is this another generic child NPC model?
What's wrong? Are you lost?
Harem.
Mommy told me to wait here.
Valid choice.
She gave me money, but she's not coming back.
Oh my god, this child.
Hey, don't cry. See, you're okay now. I'll stay here with you, alright?
I swear, Yukari is making me want to romance her, but I'm trying for Mitsuru.
Hey, look. We can get help over there. Come on, follow me. The policeman will know what to do. He'll find your mom, so don't worry. Whew, what a relief. I'm glad he was able to contact the parents. What were they thinking, leaving that poor kid all alone? Stuff like that really makes me upset. But I guess my own mom's no different.
Oh. How sad would it be if I were just to be, like, no response?
Why do you want to know?
Oh my god. Yukari, stop being so flirty with me!
So fun at you. Remember what I told you before? How my mom and I aren't very close? Well, if you ask me what kind of parent she is, I'd say a terrible one.
Oh.
She wasn't always like that, though. After what happened to Dad, she totally changed. She's probably living with one of her boyfriends somewhere. Honestly, I'd rather not know. Anyway, I'm done talking about this, okay? Could we keep this between you and me? You're the only one I've told.
Perfect. Now I think I have both of them at the same rank, so I'm gonna have to alternate.
Sorry, I'm not in the mood for karaoke anymore. Let's go home.
Just like that.
Oh, you're back.
Okay, I think, come to think of it, the crops I planted on the rooftop. Oh, I should get them. Aki. I wish to hang out with him. I wish to hang out with Shinji. Oh, Shinji. Okay, hold on. Get my crops. I have so many plants. Oh, I'm so happy that they added they added so many opportunities to hang out with C's. It brings me so much joy. Have you ever thought about what you're living for? To a certain extent. Wow, never took you for the philosophical type. I just love the fact that I can be in the kitchen now with with all of my interests. Do you think his relationship with Chidori will work out? She's a member of Strega, and there are enemies. I think they'll be okay.
Why, certainly.
I really hope so. Okay, I'm gonna hang out with Shinji. Ugh. How goes the training waffles? Free? Freedom! Yes! I'm so glad. Are you done with work then? Or are you packing up and going on a break?
What?
Huh? Why should I? Don't think I'll go easy on you. Okay, Shinji, I get it.
We're having Katsudan again. Got it?
We're having Katsudan again. I want to make Katsudan again.
Don't give me that look. We got a lot of pork because it was cheap. Part of me thinks starting with fried food might be hard, but the basics are pretty much the same. You're a real oddball, you know that? Asking me to teach you how to cook.
Crunchy pork. I literally had like my first kitchen hangout with Shinji last stream and was inspired to make katsudon, so I actually made katsudon that same weekend from scratch with some friends. It was so tasty. It was worth it. Hunting Leafeon now. I do my training videos off the clock because no time. Oh, but do you get paid at least for doing the training
Why do you
videos?
want to learn so much?
I care about my health.
You do, huh? Well, good a reason as
You
any.
sound so skeptical about that.
I was taught how to cook by someone else too. So, when I see someone who wants to learn, I can kinda relate. Alright, that's enough rambling. Let's get started. You're gonna do it this time. So first, get the meat ready. When you're frying something, stick a chopstick in the oil and check for little bubbles. Wait, you're putting on too much heat. The meat ain't gonna taste good if it's too tough. Pretty good job, considering it was your first try. You've still got room for improvement, though. Especially in the way you handle the knife and fryer. But if you're serious about it, then just practice.
Exquisite katsudon. You're supposed to do them while at work, but your department is understaffed. Oh no! That's so frustrating.
You ain't done
Are you
cooking
getting
until everything's put away.
Are you getting
Don't
enough
slack
like
off.
are you stuck doing overtime? Or just working through whatever you can do, but understaffed? That's so stressful. I'm so sorry about that. I feel like understaffing is always a very frustrating problem to have.
Hi. It's been a while.
Jump scare.
3 seasons have passed since we met. Time goes by so quickly. And in that time, many things change. But at the same time, some things in this world will always remain the same. Don't you agree?
Everything changes.
If that's what you think, then maybe you're right. Talking with you has stirred up certain memories, like that tower, for one. It's been on my mind a lot lately. I wonder, will our relationship stay the same, or will it evolve? No matter what the future holds, you and I will always be friends. That much is certain. I'll see you again. But until then, good night.
And poof! Normal hours, but need to get our occupancy up and we'll be okay. Used to it, but upside start. Vacation starts on Friday. Nice! Do you have any fun plans for your vacation? Are you just gonna stay in and enjoy your time? Play video games? Oh no. Oh, I wanna. Oh, ooh. I feel like I want to continue seeing Yukari since that's what we've been doing, but I also wanna. I wanna keep Fuka up. I think I'll do. I'll hang out with Fuka. do a quick save. Oh, the little ranger mask. I love seeing this start to fill out. Oh, I only have those two things. Okay. Sploons, do some 14, Splatfest, might pop into Discord and sees it random while gaming. Ooh, okay, that'll be fun. I barely remembered to get the Clive to do the 16 crossover collab for 14 yesterday night, and I was like, I have to get the items or else I'm not gonna be able to get this until next year. And also Torgal, the best pupper. But what's the next Splatfest that's gonna be happening? I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear you. Emergency vest.
Not
First aid
bad,
kit.
kid.
Okay, I'll get it. It's fine. I'll get it. God, I love Torgal. I want to play 16 so badly.
Thanks,
That's what Lady Yoko was playing, right? She was doing some 16. How was her stream? Did you make a... Did you finish? No, wait. I have to hang out with Shinji. No one can tell me otherwise. Something about the end of the world or something along those lines. I think it was so funny as soon as I saw Clive in the collab crossover, I was just like, ah, he's dead. He's just laying on the ground. I was like, I'm gonna steal your clothes by the end of this quest.
My bad.
Sorry for calling you up so suddenly. You got a minute? There's something I want to talk about. Evening. Will that take up my daytime? Oh no, I think I can probably only hang out with him here now. Okay, that's fine. I will spend the day.
I got a favor to ask you.
Might sleep in a bit, help the rest of... Yeah, no worries, Q. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you enjoy going through Reload again. Hope your new game plus is going well.
Give this to Kirijo. Preferably while you're at school.
Hmm?
I haven't suddenly decided to go back to school or anything. That's a form to extend my leave of absence. Don't make much sense to be in an extracurricular squad if I get expelled. But I'll drop it if I can stay absent from school.
Why me?
Going myself would be more of a pain than it's worth. Plus, it seems like Kirijo depends on you. It should be pretty easy to hand it off if you do it at school. I'll pay you back for this, so help me out, alright?
Do I bring up Akihiko? I also like the Reloaded expands the character. Yeah. So I never got to play vanilla again because I only played the Fempro tag route. But my best friend was saying that like they really give more for C's. They give more story for C's, which makes me really happy. Because I think some of the stuff, like especially with learning Akihiko's story, I mainly got to learn because I romanced him in P3P, but you didn't really get too much of his story as Makoto.
This has nothing to do with him. Besides, I already know what Aki would say.
Extension form.
Huh. I don't see you two together very
Oh,
often.
speak of the devil.
What are you guys doing back here in the middle of the day? That envelope.
Can't sleep, never mind, no worries. Can hang out a little longer here.
I'm guessing that's not the form for returning to school. Hey, if Shinji keeps this up, you'll be his classmates next year. You and Junpei should practice addressing him casually. In fact, go ahead and boss him around a bit.
I love Aki's banter towards Shinji so much.
I'd rather get expelled. We're gonna finish the battle this year. I've got no reason to stay enrolled after that.
Shinji, you know exactly how concerned Mitsuru is about you. You know what this form means to her, don't you? Don't tell me you forgot your promise.
Sorry. Didn't want to drag you into my problems, but still counting on you for that.
Thinking if you should pre-order a new DLC for Destiny 2 or not. I didn't know they were still making content for Destiny 2.
I've never seen Shinji ask someone else for help with his own problems before. He'd never say it out loud. But I think he really trusts you. I don't know. Yeah, we've known each other a long time, but sometimes being too close to somebody can have its drawbacks. I'm not gonna nag Shinji about going back to school anymore. Just do what you think is best. I'll leave it to you.
They are. This one is called Final Shape. Oh, so the server is still up and running for that game, right? I remember trying to play it a couple years ago, back when I lived with some friends, but our internet couldn't handle 2 PS4s trying to get onto Destiny 2 at the same time. Just recently got back into it. The only bad thing is got no one to play with. Oh, okay. Are there still a lot of people playing though? At least when you've been able to play? Destiny 2. Oh, is it large still? I didn't realize. Again, I don't play that game, so for me my only knowledge is from like when I played over 5 years ago.
Oh, right.
I know you can come across, but he's not a bad guy. Yeah, he could be a nag, but still. Well, feel free to put him to work on the team. Oh, Semi! Hi, Semi! How are you? I miss you! How have you been? When's the next time you're coming down to LA? Oh, okay. Legitimate, like size-wise, big. Yeah, I remember it taking up a lot of space. Semi! Oh my gosh. I was lurking in your stream earlier. I hope you had a good stream. How's everything been? I was gonna be there till AX. Semi. Semi, how do you know everybody? How do you know everybody? It's okay. Let me buy you dinner this time. What do you mean? I don't know. Listen, I didn't meet Tiffy? I didn't meet Tiffy till tonight. You're also the T that knows. Okay, but literally any stream I step into, I just wait. Is that a Shin? Okay, it is a Shin. It is a Shin emote. I was like, wait, I recognize that emote. Oh my god! Did you see Shin's debut? Oh my god, his model is so cool. I see T everywhere. This is the second time you've seen Semi. Oh my god. See, you know Tauto also? VTubing is so small, it makes me laugh so much. It makes me laugh so much. Yeah, I hope you've been well. The last update I saw was that you got a new job? Yes? Yes? You're tired of Cons, you need a break. I say as I'm flying up to Seattle for Anime Impulse. I'm gonna see Haz. Haz doesn't know I'm going, but I'm gonna go see Haz. That's fair though. Oh my god. Well, if you have time and if you'd like to catch some dinner, let me buy you some dinner. You paid last time. Tell them hi. Okay, I will let Haz know. But yeah, I'll let them know. I'm nervous because this is the first time I'm going to out of state for a con in a long while. But I'm glad that there's like some familiar artists that are going to be over at that artist alley. So I'm like, cool, I can stop by and say hi. Okay, I guess we'll make some coffee with Ken. Is he not gonna have any more like personality buffs? I'm so confused. Hold on. So jelly of them because they get to see you. Because we're local. We're local. Anytime you're in LA, Semi, you're always welcome to hit me up. I know we don't talk as often, but I'm always happy to see you if I can. That is no, not social link. It was stats. Stats. Person. Theurgy. There you go. But yeah, I'm pretty sure like the last couple cons I've gone to, I've seen Haz and I see Rain all the time too. It's so funny. They're so silly. You're so sweet, Semi. I feel the same exact way about you, honestly. And it's always so comforting that I could be in somebody's chat lurking and I'll see you and I'm like, there's Semi. I see Semi. Oh yeah, no worries, Tato. Get some rest, Have a good sleep. Thanks for hanging out. I don't even know. Okay, I guess we'll hang out with the child.
Oh. I'm using different beans today. I went to a coffee shop and bought some real ones this time. I made sure to store them in the fridge, and I only ground them right before brewing. I also learned you need to be mindful of how hot the water is, as well as how you pour it.
Store beans in fridge?
Yes.
Huh?
I practiced with the cheaper beans from before, since I can't afford too many of the expensive ones.
You are a child. You are an elementary
drink all that
school
coffee,
child drinking
added
coffee
a lot
right
of
now.
milk and sugar. Well then, let's drink, shall we? Cheers!
I'm glad he added milk and sugar this time. He was not having it with the bitter
So
coffee. Work culture there is tough. Yeah.
But it's not only that. I could actually taste some of the sweetness and richness this time. The beans and brewing technique can make a huge difference, huh? Oh, and the smell was great too. I'm feeling a little nostalgic actually.
It's Nikudo. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you enjoy your stay here in the cafe. Have you been? Any big update? I'm good. Not really any big updates, honestly. Not really. I've been doing a lot of, I've been busy, I guess. Okay, technically big update. I've been busy trying to stream again, as well as do coding. You feel like I'm lying? No. I'm trying to do a career change, but we'll see. I'm like struggling through React right now, and I'm just kind of like, I hate it. What about you? Do you have any big updates? Gumbo with the coding. Thank you. It's been rough. I've been doing it since January. That's the biggest reason why I've been majorly offline, besides like the times that I do stream. I always debate about streaming working through code, but I feel like I would be too distracted to be talking and doing my assignments at the same time. I've been waiting for this. Nice to meet you. Gonna head off for bed. No worries, Waffles. Take care. Thank you so much for today and for hanging out. Always appreciate you.
Thanks for joining me. You can go on ahead. I'm gonna practice a little more to try and get the hang of this. Let's make some more if we ever get the chance. First I gotta use the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
While I was practicing today.
Too much coffee. Too much. Really, only real updates. I gotta find somewhere to move closer to work. Oh, are you working remotely or are you commuting? But I'm glad that you work keeping you busy is good. But I see you've been streaming, which is good. It's always nice whenever I get to see your streams. I only get to lurk because like I'm probably listening to my assignments or I am streaming. But it's good. I'm happy for you. Cultural festival. I forgot that this happens too in this game. Work in office twice a week. You could become converted to full time. Oh, that's good. It's more work now, and you got to be closer. Oh, I'm so sorry. I want to try and work hybrid eventually. Right now, I'm just like crying going to the office 4 days a week because the office is so far. No. Are you worried about just trying to find a place or like, I guess, what is it, like cost? Or it's just the stress of trying to find a place? Oh my god, why is she giving us a story about her husband? At first we were somewhat distant, but after spending enough time together, one day I suddenly realized that he was my better half. What do you suddenly realize that? Ooh, I just came up with a good question. Since our eyes met, who is one referring to when speaking of their better half, their rival? I'm just kidding. Moving costs, you got the job in January. Oh yeah, you were unemployed for quite a while, huh? Someone who you never want to leave and will treasure always. I believe whoever makes you feel this way is your soulmate. Someday, if you ever meet someone who makes you feel like that, accept your feelings and your better half with open arms. Well, look at the time. Let's get back to the lesson. Oh my god, that was such a weird tangent. Anyways. Unfortunately. But yeah, I am so happy that you have full-time work now. It's good. It's good. It's unfortunate that you are a busy bee. But in hindsight, it's good. I don't know. I feel like I would be too... I have like that very typical Asian immigrant, if I'm not working, I'm failing at life, you know? I have so much fear about losing my job and just like being in a very in a situation like that where you're just like trying to find something with with like the savings that you have. Yeah. It's that same, what is it? That same typical, what is it? Like pyramid? Triangle? Where you either give up your social life, your sleep, or your work, right? I have no... If I could... Same, Semi. Honestly, listen. If I could be a sugar baby, I would absolutely be a sugar baby. Instead, I will be Chat's Tamagotchi. You can hydrate me, you can give me head pats, you can give me a little scare. I'll shit my pants a little bit. But that's okay. I'm gonna hang out today. No, I feel for that. I feel for that. Sometimes I just wanna be a silly little guy. When you're a coding engineer with big bucks? Oh, okay. You'll be my first sugar baby when I get there, okay? Oh! Wait. Is it time? Please? I handed... Oh, never mind. Dang it, I got excited. I think it's only in October that I can start her social lane too. I thought as much. He's certainly stubborn, I'll give him that. But this is his decision, so there's nothing more we can do. I apologize for making you run back and forth so much. But thanks to you, I think I could finally lay this matter to rest. I appreciate your help. I still need to play this game, but I also want to play like a... Yeah! I literally... Okay, so I told myself I was not going to buy any games this sale. I bought the, what is it? The Zero Escape trilogy. So I have, 999, I think the other game that's related to that, as well as the AI Somnium files. And, Also, what is it? Persona 4 Golden. Yeah, the bundle was like 40 bucks for 4 games. So it's just like, okay, this is a steal, and at least I'll have more games to play after Persona. Although this is like my long-running RPG right now. This is a replay for me, honestly, because I played the portable version like over 10 years ago. Yeah, Zero Escape Buddies! I'm excited to see you play it, Venna. But yeah, I also have a million games to play. I got into the Hades 2 technical test and I was so excited. I played a bit and now the early access is out and I was like, okay, I don't have the money to buy it yet because I just bought games on sale. So I will have to wait. I want to play that one. I want to continue on Hades 2. The technical test was so fun. And just I need at least 30 hours in a day because it's
I don't think I ever told you about how things were before you joined.
Yeah, I need 30 hours in a day. There's just too little. I want to socialize. I want to catch up with friends. I want to play video games, but I also want to sleep. And then I also have coding. So I'm just like, I'm dying slowly. Just very slowly.
C's originally started off with only 3 members. Back in middle school, I invited Akihiko to join, and Aragaki followed him soon after. We had no idea what we were doing back then.
Wait. No! Oh, I'm getting so emotional hearing this music.
We were young, inexperienced, and we had almost no intel to work off of. We could barely even make it past the entrance to Tartarus back then. Actually exploring the tower like we're doing now was nothing more than a pipe dream.
Oh,
even with all our shortcomings,
getting to see that
we worked
image
decently
just
as a team. As peers,
I'm so
it was
teary
easy
for
us
them.
to connect, and the work was hard but fulfilling.
You pre-ordered the DLC for Destiny 2. Nice. When does it come out? Oh, also,
I'm sorry. I'm not complaining about our current circumstances. We've discovered how to eliminate the dark hour, and we've since grown much stronger.
Getting to hear this track reloaded has me like feeling so many emotions.
However, after what happened in Yakushima, and with Aragaki rejoining, it's hard not to remember the old days. Maybe I'm so concerned about re-enrolling him in school because I'm still living in the past.
Why is his attendance so vital?
Well, sometime after we started working as a team, we all came to an agreement.
Getting to see them so much younger. No! $100 gone, then another 100 gone because I bought some silver for the game. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's soon. Next month. I didn't know though that that's an expensive DLC for Destiny 2. What exactly comes in the DLC?
We promised we'd all graduate together. No one left behind.
Oh.
Akihiko was just as reckless back then, too. Aragaki was always the one reminding him that our lives were at stake. Although his wording certainly wasn't quite so thoughtful. It suits him, doesn't it? I guess you've gotten to know him well. Ever since he left the team, he's acted like he's wanted to punish himself. It's almost like he just wants to waste away. I'm hoping
please don't
he'll
do
remember
this.
his promise and take a step back and look at himself. That's why I gave you the paperwork to get him back in school.
Normal version is not 100. I bought the more oh, okay, so there's different tiers at least. It's like if Final Fantasy 14 charged for its free series, I would cry. I would cry if Final Fantasy did that. I would just
That was my last hope, but I suppose it didn't work out. I'll tell Akihiko myself. All right, I'll take this. I'll start on the process for extending his leave of absence. What's the matter?
Wait. 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 Wait.
Oh, sure. What's wrong, though? Is it missing a page? I'll let you handle it then. Make sure to let Aragaki know as well.
I still get to hold on to this. Wait. Please, Shinji. Please, Shinji. Oh. Fuka. Oh, there's two different ones. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, shopping with Fuka. Yeah, do you still get enough people to play Destiny with, at least on the servers?
I wanted to buy something to use as a secret ingredient in my cooking.
Fuka, what secret ingredient are you getting?
But I couldn't really decide, and I wasn't sure how to use whatever I'd buy.
Let's, do you really need, I think you should start with the basics.
Yes, I haven't even gotten the basics down yet. I'm getting way too ahead of myself.
No, that wasn't the
First thing I need
response.
to do is find something that I can actually make. I'm still having a lot of trouble getting things right, but I can't give up yet. Not after all your support. And it's not like I have any other redeeming qualities.
Any plans to take Tuna to a Waffle House for their first time eating hash browns? With or without a full 3-piece suit? Okay, I'll show up with the full 3-piece suit. But unfortunately, there is not a Waffle House near me. But I'll be taking them to my favorite, to a lot of my favorite cafes, which I'm very excited for. Oh, wait! No. That's gonna be later. That's gonna be later. But I'm gonna hopefully we're gonna try to find a good Japanese food when we meet up next week. I'm very excited. I'm so excited. It's been so long since I last got to see them. Like, absolutely gushing. I cannot every day I mess up DM Tuna and I'm like Tuna soon 1 week. No, Puka, you're so hardworking. But yeah, I'm very excited. It's very exciting that it's been.
I mean, everyone in our group works hard.
Last time we saw each other in person was last year February when I visited Japan when they were still there.
And beyond that, I think you all have something that you're good at.
So I'm glad we're gonna get a chance to reconnect again soon.
Not me.
Puka, no.
I mean, I guess I'm sort of good with machines, but that's it. It's honestly not worth mentioning. Really.
You'd be like, yeah, no worries. Thank you so much, TV, for hanging out. Appreciate you coming in with the raids. It's nice to meet you, and I hope you enjoy. I hope to catch you around. I'll see you. Take care.
I just happen to like them. It's not exactly something worth boasting about. When I was little, I remember my dad's hobby was to work on complicated sound equipment.
Yeah, nice to meet
Fix
ya.
Things like broken amplifiers or headphones that only played sound on one side. I've always loved watching him work on those things. That's probably why I was drawn to working with machines in the first.
Don't worry, Semi. Enjoy your lurk. Thank you. It's nice to chat with you for a little bit. Yeah. No worries. Enjoy this game whenever you get to play it. Please talk to me about it. This is one of my favorite games. You're on Final Fantasy 14? 14 player? Let's go. Oh my god, I've been meeting so many Final Fantasy 14 players today. Hello? Okay, I might really actually try to make my wool into a triple triad card to hand out whenever I'm out. Oh my god. You're a sprout. It's okay. I hope you're enjoying. You just finished ARR? Okay, you've gone through the toughest bit. Did you like it though? Are you enjoying? I don't mean to hold you. If you gotta go lurk, you can go lurk. I'm just excited because I'm like, Final Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy 14.
But I
You just been.
would be very useful to repay everyone's
Crystal Tower, good.
Plus, if we do ever have any
It's so nice
technical needs,
and
like
refreshing when you first
then
start.
we've always got the Kirito group support.
Yeah, we love our sprouts. Oh my god. Oh my god. What class did you start with and what class are you enjoying right now?
Not to mention that I'm kind of embarrassed about it all. I mean, it's not a very feminine hobby.
Luca, no.
Later.
Wait, you also accidentally did dailies on the main scenario? Arcanist! Arcanist was my very first class too. I ended up maining Scholar for a very long time, and then as soon as I picked up Astrologian, that's my main healing class right now. So I'll usually do Astrologian or Sage. Are you gonna do Scholar or are you gonna do Summoner? Or like either or. They're interchangeable. You level them both at the same time anyways. I know! Sorry about the ads. Ugh. I'm gonna... I think I can probably do... I'll probably go on for another long bit. Both, but you did Scholar. Okay. Yeah, Scholar is definitely a lot easier to queue up in, right? Just because you get the healer boost, the healer Q speeds.
I sure seem to talk about my problems a lot, huh? I wonder why it's so easy talking to you. I feel like you stop me from being so negative all the time.
Fuka baby girl.
Actually, I might owe a lot to you in that sense.
Perfect. You did pray as main scenario daily by accident. Oh! I have not done MSQs for my roulettes in such a long time. I didn't realize. I think pray is now a two-parter, right? It's like or am I thinking of something? Or am I thinking of Castrum? I know one of the MSQs got cut into two. Do you want to go through it again? When I first did, I accidentally requeued. No! Oh, I would just cry. I probably would have taken the loss. I would have taken the... Yeah, those are the unskippable cutscenes. Okay, it used to be longer. I think before Endwalker, they took out a lot of the things that made it long. So I would literally, if I ever did MSQ, because that was like a 45 minute dungeon, I would just watch anime. I wouldn't even, like, everybody who's doing their MSQ for it, no one's paying attention. I would literally watch anime. I had a friend who did their taxes while they're doing the freaking MSQ. P3 Protect has everyone falling for them fast. Listen, I just got that much Riz. I have that much Riz. Joke's on you. I'm not just a brown bear. I'm a grizzly bear. Yeah. They completely redid it. It's weird that it's 2 dungeons and a trial. It used to be the 8-person dungeon with weird mechanics and like, oh my god. Yeah. I would just watch something on the side. I'll put up something on Netflix and I'll just do all my roulettes like that. So I'm glad you don't have to experience that now. It's just, oh god, it was so rough. But yeah, it does give hella XP. I would definitely get at least a level up a day that way. If you're ever trying to do other like level up stuff though, and you don't mind doing PvP, you could just turn your brain off and play PvP. You'll still get a lot of EXP. and you can switch your class when you get into PvP. So you queue up as like whatever role it is that you want to level up, and then you can switch anyways. I always find that really easy to use. Yeah, you get a lot of EXP in PvP in Frontlines.
Oh, you're
Okay, I think maybe I'll go to Tartarus. Oh, I want to hang out. I think this is going to be one of those streams where I'm not going to do Tartarus until like the very last minute, I think. Yeah, so like on PvP for Frontlines, you need just I think your class has to be level 30. But I will literally level my DPSs that way because it's so quick. Yeah, no worries. Have a good lurk. Take care. Did they go? Oh god, they're already level 50. 120 years. Okay. Oh. Oh my god, I love those emotes so much. Yeah. Oh wait. I forgot you played. Okay, so I met Leoka at TwitchCon through Pink, who's another mutual of ours. I didn't know Lady Oka played. I should reach out to her. Yeah, I think occasionally, very seldom I'll play Final Fantasy XIV on stream, but if I ever do, it's usually open party. So if you ever catch me streaming it, it's most likely open party, and you're always welcome to join, and we can just do roulettes and stuff. So we can definitely jump into Frontlines, and you can experience it there. Oh, she just got back on it. Okay, perfect. I'll have to see. Blue! Hi, Blue. How are you? How are you? I did the thing again. I got distracted. No, we're gonna spend as much time possible with Shinji. Yes, Vena. You're good. A mite sick? A little sick? Are you okay? I hope you're getting enough rest. Yokai event still happening in Keimu. Oh, and then the Make It Rain campaign is gonna happen as well. I believe that's happening soon. Hi, Scobo. How are you? Welcome. Just experimenting with the redeems. Okay. Okay, good. Aw, I hope that you can get some rest. If you're feeling sick physically, I hope that you're drinking enough tea, taking some, if it's your throat, honey, lemon, ginger. I always buy that big jar from Costco of the Bonabi honey lemon ginger. Yeah. Thank you for stopping in and saying hi. It's always nice to see you. Always nice to hear from you. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Have a good lark, TP. Good, just finished dinner. Ooh, what was for dinner, Scovo? I'm trying to get rid of...
We'll be in good shape.
I'm trying to get rid of my last couple bagels in my fridge because I feel like it's been almost 2 weeks. So I'm just like, I don't want this to stay in the fridge any longer. So I had that for dinner. You wanted to stop it? Don't say that, Blue. No. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Got me flustered.
Crops that are bruised or still taste fine.
Oh my god, I'm so flustered. I'm skipping Shinji's text. God damn it.
Stems and roots laying around
Auto.
after harvesting the
I
crops.
put down the controller.
Check them out and replace the soil right away. You can't replant anything until you do that. I'm glad you pick up on stuff so quickly.
Hi, Gargi. How are you doing? Good morning, afternoon, evening. Baked seasoned potato cubes, slowly cooked for. Oh my god. Okay, I have been craving smoked barbecue or smoked brisket. I don't normally eat like a crazy amount of red meat. If I eat red meat, it's probably just like pork belly strips or like yeah, usually like pork belly or beef shank, but I get that like once like every other month or so. It's usually chicken for me, but smoked brisket, I don't know why, it's just living in my brain. Doing good. That's good to hear, Groggy. What you been up to?
You're great to work with, unlike a certain someone.
I love whenever Shinji shits on Aki, and when Aki shits on Shinji. I love them so much. Also, have you finished a base game yet for World?
You know, I only started this on a whim, but it's worth it every now and then. Even someone like me can, well, how do I put this? Growing something lets you see the result of your labor, so you feel like you built it with your own hands. Its life cycle ends once you eat it, though.
I love Shinji so much. I love him almost as much as Aki.
It's so damn cheesy. But you know, maybe you're right. Thought I'd forgotten all about gardening as a kid. Even if someone disappears, maybe they can still leave something behind.
Stop this. I will cry. Why is he so honest?
Just talking to myself.
Ugh.
Guess that ain't really like me.
Seem to have realized something from tending the garden. Okay, what is it now? Auto bolster temporarily raises user's attack and defense at the start. Ooh, let's go.
Ended up saying a little too much today. Break time's over. Let's get back to it.
Oh.
All right, that just about does it. Thanks for your help. If you ever do this again, I'll join you. Time to head back.
I will cry. I will cry on stream. As I've done before.
Go.
Just 3 shadows left, huh? And only 3 more weeks till the next one appears. Personally, I'd rather take on all 3 at once to save us the trouble. Oh god, no. Don't underestimate them, Aki. They kick my ass every time. You're right. Every enemy we face has been stronger than the last. And since we got more manpower, it should be easier to defeat them. I can't wait till the next full moon. Koromaru. Okay, let's see. Oh, I should. I'm gonna hang out with Koromaru. I'm not doing social links. I know I should. I think BB's up pretty high anyways. What do I have him at right now? I think I have him at like 7. Just kidding. 8! Okay, perfect. I'm good then. I would go up though. Do I? Man, Akihiko keeps texting me to take care of Koromaru, so I'm just like, do I? Because I kind of want to... Yeah, I'll do it on another day, hopefully. He's people watching.
That voice. It really is you, Koromaru. I'm so glad to see you again.
Koromaru's so well loved.
But here you are, looking better than ever. And so well dressed. You've become quite the fashionista, haven't you? Oh, good boy. Good boy.
So cute.
Do you live in the store? Is Koromaru in good hands here?
Of course. He takes care of me. We all take care of him.
thought so. By we, I take it you mean everyone in this dorm looks after him.
Oh.
I'm glad you found somewhere you can relax again. Oh, don't you worry about a thing. You can live wherever you choose.
Oh.
I have to get going. Take care now, the both of you.
I guess.
What's wrong, Koromaru-san? I see. So that's what's troubling you.
Huh? What's troubling him?
That woman from earlier, she offered to take Koromaru-san in at one point. But at the time, he still had unfinished business to attend to. Of course, she is unaware of that fact. So in all likelihood, she may still carry the wrong impression about Koromaru-san's feelings.
Aww. We have to make things right with that lady. Stop. This track always gets me.
It's you again. Is everything all right? Would this happen to be about Koromaru? Don't worry about it. I know Koromaru has his own reasons and his own problems. He's such a sweet, smart boy, isn't he? So really, I'm all right. But thank you for being so thoughtful. The way he's by your side, he looks just like he did when he was with the priest. He must really trust you from the bottom of his heart. Please, take good care of Koromaru.
Oh.
Koromaru really has been blessed with so many wonderful friends. Be sure to cherish them, okay? You'll be at that dorm from now on, won't you? Well, I'll have to visit you again then.
No, no. I swear, this game. We're getting to the point where I'm just like, I could be crying every stream. What did they? Oh, the gear. It's like, what the heck did I order?
Welcome back.
I heard that Chidori-san is starting to open up a little, but it seems that she's still uncomfortable talking about personas. It might take some time before she's ready. It's fine. We still have 3 shadows to worry about, so let's focus on that. They'll be sorry they were set foot into this world. Okay. Oh no. Every time I see the exclamation points, I'm just like, do I do the exclamation points or do I spend time? It's Shinji. Where's Ken? Hold a second. Okay. Oh. Huh? Sounds like he's doing something in his room. Should I spend the evening? Yeah. What's going on? Who's there? Oh.
Senpai? Oh, I was just cleaning my room. Sorry, was it too loud? Okay then. Good night.
Child. Child!
Senpai? Actually, there's something I'd like to talk about. Will you come in?
He has a hamster? Excuse me?
Sorry it's so messy in here. This won't take long.
That hamster looks so funny in the background.
I actually have a favor to ask of you.
Oh, I did not want to do that. Oh my gosh. Okay. You see, I have a pet hamster. I got him when I was living with my mom, and he's been with me ever since, so I decided to bring him here. If for some reason I don't make it back here in the future, then this little guy will be all alone.
If for some reason I don't make it back here in the future, then this little guy will be all alone. So, could you help look after him if that happens?
Ken.
Of course. I have you guys with me, so I won't go down easily. But you never know, right? It was the same with my mom. Everything happened so suddenly. So please, I can even provide a little something as thanks. I'll give you all my allowance, and the rest of my New Year's money.
I don't want your money,
and I'll give
kid.
you all the comics here, plus whatever else you want.
Hypothetically speaking.
Okay, that works for me. Well, aren't you the lucky one?
I hate that we're at that point now where, you know, this music comes up, everything is emotional, and we're getting all of these conversations about if I'm not around, if I go. And I'm just like, you know, I get it. Like, we're fighting for our lives every night, but this is also like, ooh, they're really setting me up to cry, huh?
But when that happens, you better listen to him, okay? His name, it's Hamburger.
Hamburger! Oh. Sounds delicious. That's a good name. Is that your favorite food?
My favorite would be omelet rice, but hamburgers are a close second. The night he came home with me, we had hamburgers for dinner, so that's why.
Oh.
Anyways, thank you so much. That's a big relief. There's not much time left now. Sorry again for the disturbance. Could you apologize to everyone else for me? It's getting late, so I'm going to bed soon. Actually, can I ask you one more thing? Everyone in this dorm is so kind. They always come up to me for a casual chat, and they treat me like a normal person.
Because
sure,
you are a normal
there were plenty
person.
of adults who showed concern for me, but I feel like the people here are a little different. And you came to check in on me again today, but why? Why does everyone here care about what happens to me?
I'm just taking so much emotional damage this stream. Ugh. Am I alright? I'm getting wrecked. My heart is getting wretched.
I only just joined, but you already think of me as one of your own?
Sleep well in
I guess
tears.
that was a weird question.
Good
wasn't
night,
it?
sweet prince.
Sorry, don't mind me.
Get in bed. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Thank you for hanging out, Venna. I hope you have a good sleep. I'll catch you around. Take care, take care.
But maybe I should have asked sooner. I don't know if I'll be able to fully repay you for your kindness, but I'll do my best. Okay then. Good night. Senpai! I'm really glad you came. Thank you. And I'm sorry. I won't let you down.
I left the silent hallway and returned to my room. I feel like my courage has improved after accepting Mada's desperate request. Man. Ah. I can't believe this. I can hear people talking.
Hey, dude!
Hey, did you hear? The guy I talked about is gonna be... gonna wear a maid dress for the cultural festival. Wait, seriously? Is this a blessing from heaven?
Actually...
The archery team is doing a maid cafe, and she drew the short straw. I heard she's not stoked about it, so we gotta go support her, right? Talk of the town. Sounds like she's going to dress up as a maid for the cultural festival. Oh my god. First takes emotional damage, then takes psychic damage for girls being cute. Hi Bagels, how are you? How are you? How are you? Uh-oh, wait. Oh, please, Shinji, please. Ah.
What? Huh? So, are you still carrying that thing around?
Oh. 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 I couldn't hand it over.
Looks like you're not just playing errand boy this time. Sorry, but I'm not going back to school. Since it's you, I guess I'll say it. I ain't gonna live much longer. I'm getting by on meds right now, but that won't last forever.
Oh.
I didn't know my limits. And I bit off more than I could chew. This is what I
Shinji,
deserve.
no. Oh my god.
I know it better than anyone. And I know there's nothing I can do.
I can't do this. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. And the noodles are getting soggy. And I know it seems like a waste of your time, but it's the good memories that stay with you and get people through their struggles. It's also the mistakes you made that haunt you forever. I'm gonna use the time I have left to think straight. I don't have the luxury of doing anything else.
These response. Oh my god. Oh my god. You guys didn't know, I'm an emotional person. I'm very, very easily swayed. If you give me... Okay, I love tragedies though. You give me a heartbreak story, I will eat that shit up. I will cry to it. I will bawl my eyes like a baby. You give me foreshadowing death of beloved characters who are trying to do things right and redeem, and like... I just... ooh. Bro, good afternoon. How are you? I'm so sorry. I'm sounding so snotty. I'm like tearing up right now. You're always so sweet to me. It's nice to see you, Rogue. Ooh. You have to keep your word.
Damn. You really don't mince your words, do you? But you know, that ain't so bad. It's way more refreshing than having someone keep quiet because they're scared of hurting my feelings. That's gotta be why they depend on you so much. Aki and Kirijo are fighting with way more confidence than they had 2 years ago. Yeah, you're just something special. But look, if you got time to waste on me, then go spend it on someone else.
No.
Like Amada. He's still just a kid. He's way in over his head. I'm still gonna do whatever I can to help. But after that, I'm counting on you.
Stop! Can everybody stop telling me? Can everybody stop depending on me for 1 second? Please?
Yeah. I should have been the one to hand it in. Sorry I put that on you.
Please, my heart can't take
You can
this.
head on outside. I'm paying today. Thanks. Money's on the counter.
I don't see the money on the counter.
Thanks. Come again.
Oh. Aragaki and I quietly headed back to the dorm. Ugh. can't believe tonight's the night that I'm just gonna cry myself to sleep.
Oh, welcome back.
Is it just my imagination, or have the lost been proliferating more quickly than usual lately? There are over 2 weeks until the next full moon, so why? I suppose we should just focus on what we can accomplish right now. We'll deal with this next shadows swiftly and have a tissue. I do have tissues, and we'll have a tissue in a moment. Oh. What did people do? Senpai! The cultural festival. I forgot we did that. This crap doesn't interest me. I don't. I think I'll do this. What do I have? Oh, it's courage. I don't need it. Anything I can get. So just the Easter egg to hang out with. Check. Should I go to Tartarus tonight? I feel like I kind of like just going through story tonight. Hang out with with Shinji. Okay, we're gonna go with Shinji.
Quit getting so excited. Don't you go on walks all the time? Whatever. Go on and run all you want. I don't like the way things are looking out there. Feels like a storm's coming. Well, whatever happens, happens. What? You done already? This place was your home, right? What you got there?
If I get emotional over games, do not play The Last of Us. Okay, I've not played The Last of Us, but I did watch the show with Tuna. We binged it, we finished it, and I cried a lot. At least for what was already out. I think there was only 1 season so far. I am very, very easily moved. Horizon Zero Dawn. I believe Tuna's playing that right now, so I'm just gonna keep up with their mods. There's so many good games out there that I want to play, but I'm just like, I wish I had more time in the day.
Doesn't look like anything dangerous. Why don't you hang on to it? Come on, let's head back.
I am definitely feeling oh. I can hear people talking. Hey. I heard there's a nasty typhoon on the way. You think we'll still have the cultural festival Saturday? Nah, I don't think so. The way they're talking, the typhoon's gonna be way too destructive. Huh? You seriously think it's gonna be canceled? Man, after all that work we put in preparing for it. I'm definitely feeling the EPs and the tired, so I'll probably try to play until at least let's see, where's the calendar? I want to play until, is this the new moon? Okay, full moon is 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks. Yeah. I really love this theme. I don't think I'll get over it for a while. Sad moment followed by a jam. Honestly, this term's music is so good. Okay, I think I'll probably try to play through these holidays until like a week before. I think I'll try to do that.
Greetings.
I've heard that Yukari-san is going to be working at a maid cafe during the festival. I'm not familiar with the concept. However, The male students in particular seem exceptionally excited to see her new outfit. You know, I might actually open up the social link with Kenji, but I'm gonna fast forward because I hate him. But I need the magician to be at a higher social, at a higher level because ooh, there's good ones in there. Yeah, it's gonna have to be. I don't think we can hang out with anybody else today. Okay. Oh, I could hang out with Keisuke. Chariot. I don't think I have a lot of chariot personas though. He's at 3 anyways. Okay. We'll hang out. But I'm literally gonna fast forward because I don't have the patience for this character. Ugh, he's also into older women, so I have to say this. Okay, yep. Thank God. It's done with. Something productive at least.
Oh, you're back.
Okay. Oh, more Shinji time. Shinji, Koro, and Fuka. Yep. Did you eat the ones you harvested? You still want to do this? I ain't gonna force you. Oh, he's not gonna get any more skills. That's it? Oh, I'm sorry, Koro. Okay, let me hang out with Fuka, I think. Yeah, I want to hang out with Fuka. New ability. Okay, yeah, I should.
All right.
A good thing. Might as well before I go into Tartarus later.
Oh, did you finish reading the final volume? You looked really focused when you were reading. I can definitely relate. When I got to the end, I was so absorbed that I almost forgot to breathe. What an amazing series! I didn't notice at first, but at some point I could suddenly just make sense of the complex setting. Isn't it weird how that works? Right! If it was just straight exposition, it would be exhausting trying to keep track of everything. Being able to tie the world building into the narrative really shows how skilled the author is. I wish I could communicate as well as the author does in this book. Remember when I told you how I recommended a book to a classmate, but she turned me down? Knowing what to say is important, but how you say it is difficult too. Before I could tell her how fascinating the story is, I was telling her how many volumes it was and that it's written by a famous author. I don't think that kind of information's going to persuade someone to read.
Thank you for the head pass, Groggy.
Thanks. Maybe I'll try talking to her again. I think I'll have a lot of good things to say about this book now. It always feels nice when someone shows an interest in something you like. Even just sharing our opinions like this is so refreshing. That's why I really want to work on how I communicate things. Because if I do that, then maybe I'll get more fun moments like this.
Okay, weakness mitigator greatly reduces damage when an ally's weakness. Oh, thank God.
Oh, look at the time. We should probably call it a night. I have some other books I can recommend, if you'd like. Thank you. I hope you'll like those too. Well then, good night.
Tip a brown cow, tip a brown cow. It sounds like they're saying that, huh? I think it's check it out now. I honestly don't know the lyrics.
Hey there.
Hey, did you go to the film festival during summer vacation? Oh, my nose is dripping right now. Oh, the one at Port Island Movie Theater? Yeah, I watched a bunch of things. I heard they're having it again next week, just for just one day. Wanna go? On the 23rd, right? I'll pass on this one. I forgot what the theme this time was, but I remember it was all kiddie. Oh, looks like there's gonna be a one-day film festival next week on September 23rd. Maybe I should invite someone to come with me. Also, I'm like starting to heat up, so I think I might actually be cutting stream a little earlier than what I was saying earlier. But I do want to get to a good safe spot. Probably before the festival, I think. Oh my god.
This is the first time we've met during the day.
This Jesus jump scare.
Let's have a chat while the opportunity presents itself.
What about the typhoon?
That doesn't concern me.
Oh my god,
now,
okay.
let's be off.
What? Where are we going? Where are you taking me? Why am I having this conversation with you?
I understand one of my group has caused you some trouble. Is she in good health? It must be difficult looking after her. After all, you likely can't rein her in for very long. Or could it be you've already killed?
Man, heck off.
So you're keeping her alive. Then I take it you've had to use the suppressants. As I'd expect from Kirijo's resourcefulness. And you now have someone with first-hand experience among your number as well. If you already know about the suppressants, that simplifies things. Can you imagine it? A persona user murdered by their other half. Such is the fate of a persona that has gone berserk. As you have already seen for yourself. This power of ours is not meant to be wielded by just anyone. That holds true even for those who were awakened by force. It comes at a great cost, and we can only harness it by walking the line between life and death. This power makes us who we are. And yet, you hold the ability to wield so many. The Dark Hour has graced you with its favor, almost unjustly so from our perspective. Now, I ask you, don't you think it'd be a shame for you to lose such a special power? You stubbornly cling to that sentiment. Do you have no intention of understanding anything? Choosing to turn a blind eye towards your own power, to the grief of the fallen, the unchosen, the unloved. Such apathy.
Oh god, I do not like his portrait here.
Trample upon everything we stand for, and worst of all, your rejection of mine. You tread upon your gifts like dirt, and in doing so, reveal your own arrogance. It disgusts me. I see now that nothing will change your mind. If our beliefs are at odds with each other, and neither side is willing to concede, then a battle is unavoidable.
Sir, please get your hand off the revolver. Okay, thank God.
Confrontation will come in our own time. You have been blessed with a power greater than any other, and yet you don't see its true value. Such a shame.
Okay, okay, Revolver Jesus. Oh god. Drenched from the rain, my whole body is shivering.
Huh.
Oh, didn't quite
make
make it. Oh, that's voiced, okay.
According to the news, a typhoon just hit. Apparently, it's the biggest one on record. It's moving slowly too, so it'll be gloomy for a while.
Yeah, thanks to that, the school festival got canned. Well, less work for us in the end, I guess. Still sucks that we'll be stuck indoors for vacation, though. So, what you gonna do over break?
Nothing special.
I always did picture you as a guy with too much free time. What about you, Fuka?
Me? The only thing I plan to do is go to the movies.
I guess is so cute in the back. I just noticed her with Koro.
You had a date?
It's not like that. I'm going with Natsuki-chan. We actually talk about movies all the time. But with this typhoon, I don't know if we'll make it.
How about you, Yuka-tan? Still gonna have practice?
I don't know. The archery range is outside, so it's most likely canceled until the storm blows over.
Same here. This stupid typhoon is gonna mess up my training.
You gotta be booked, right, Kirijo-senpai?
I'm not sure yet. Why are you so curious about our business, Iori?
Oh, me? Well, I'd be happy to tell you about my plans.
He just wants somebody to ask him.
I suspect that you will be visiting Chidori-san. Although she is in stable condition now, we still can't release her.
Man, Ai-chan, you must be psychic. And you know what? She even told me she wants me to come. Oh, man! I can't believe she said that. So I figured I should probably check up on her. You know, with the storm and all.
Mm-hmm.
What's with him? Why is he all excited?
Well...
You don't know either, huh?
Oh, Amada-kun, what are your plans during the break?
Oh, I'm not really doing anything in particular.
Come on, you gotta be doing something.
Oh, I'll probably go visit the shrine.
Dude, you're a kid.
I
not
forgot
an old
to
man.
visit the shrine on Sunday
I always go to pray,
to
though.
give back the
Guess
man's
you could
pen.
say I have a wish I want granted. Anyway, I'm going back to my room. I've got a lot of homework to do.
Ken.
Okay, just holler if you get stuck, yeah?
I feel a bit under the weather. Maybe I should head to bed early tonight. Okay. I think that actually is... I feel that that's my sign. To also head to bed early tonight. Let's see. Oh, it's the same. Oh, shoot. I made too many. Okay, it's fine. I just now have an extra file. A wish, huh? Why can't he act like a normal kid? I hate to say it, but I'm so relieved the festival got cancelled. I mean, come on. A maid outfit? I'd rather stand outside in the middle of the typhoon than wear a maid outfit. Yukari, I want to see the maid outfit, though. No charter is going to happen anyways. Due to the cancellation of the festival, we will receive 5 days off from school. We will have the full weekend off. The 21st is respective for the age day, 22nd is a national holiday, and the 23rd is the autumnal equinox.
I have a suggestion.
We should use this time wisely.
Nah.
The only downside is canceling the school festival is that we don't get to see Yuka-tan in a maiden dress anymore. Bummer, huh? Yeah, bummer. Right? Oh my god, Junpei. I'm pretty sure it's not just us who are bummed out, though. Uh-huh.
Let's see.
As student council president, I am saddened to hear the festival has been cancelled. I suggested that the date be rescheduled, but it seems that won't happen. Well, there's nothing one can do to hinder Mother Nature's will.
By the way,
this building was damaged by that shadow back in April. I wonder if there are any leaks. I hope this place didn't get damaged as badly as I did. Oh my god. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do a pause here. Move over to my other screen and see if I can find somebody to raid. Oh, we're gonna move the pillow so it doesn't take up half the screen.
Oh.
Nitri, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you enjoy your stay here in the cafe. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed. Let me see who on. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna bring everybody over to some... Oh, I messed up. Now I'm not on that anymore. Pain. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch these ads first. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. Welcome. Thank you, Tuna. Much appreciated. There is my Discord. There is my socials. You can find me there. I realized that I did not put out a tweet today for my stream. I'm a fool. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I feel like I'm just a bit tired today, and also emotionally sad about how the story is going already. So I'm just like, I have to mentally prepare myself for next stream. Yeah, I should be back on Friday, about midday Friday. I believe. I don't know if maybe I'll play some more Persona, maybe I'll play Star Rail. I'll see how much Star Rail I end up doing tonight, but I do want to get cozy in my bed and heat pack and pray that my muscle strain goes away soon. But if you guys could stick around for the raid, I would really appreciate it. I do have a raid message. There is one with emotes and there is one without. I would really love if you can send some hearts over. We're gonna go over, I almost shouted her out. We're gonna go over to Saf. So if anybody knows Saf, Saphira de Noma, she is playing some Limbus Company. She looks like a little scrungly guy right now. I love her, she's great. Please stick around, send some love to Saf if you can. And I'll catch you guys on Friday. Thank you again for hanging out. I hope everybody has a good morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you.